our Already a number of crashes. We have an accident now. It's blocking the left two lanes of I-24 eastbound near Old Hickory Boulevard North. That would be exit 40. Also 65 south at Rivergate Parkway near exit 96. We have a crash in Goodlettsville. Dickerson Pike at Briley Parkway, a crash. Also Charlotte Avenue west of 54th Avenue North, as well as another near Belmont, 12th Avenue South near Acklen Avenue. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends and neighbors. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, and look who's here. Matt Murphy decided to show up today. It is Monday, February the 9th, 2026. Good afternoon. Welcome in. I hope all of you are doing well on this Monday after the Super Bowl Sunday that was. It is day 386 of Donald Trump's second term as president of the United States of America. That's out of 1,460.5. I like to remind my liberal friends of that just to freak them out that you still have over 1,000 days left of this. It is also day 9, speaking of 1,000, 973 of our visits together. We only count those that I actually attend. We appreciate you being a part of, well, I hope every single one of them. Several of you out there, I'm sure, have joined us for every one of these shows. Jackson Williams is not one of those people. He joined us just about a year ago or so.
Not even that.
Not even a year? It's not even been a year?
Like 6 months.
Golly, it feels like 6 years.
Yeah, me too, bud.
Yeah?
I don't know what to tell you.
We'll speak more of my absence.
Oh, I've got lots of things to say about your
Friday.
absence.
Yes, we'll speak more of my absence in a moment. I do want to welcome in Jay Harper. Jay's back in News Closet B, gathering headlines, deliver them twice an hour, and when it breaks, Hello, Mr. Harper.
Hello, Mr. Murphy.
You got called into service. I like that.
Yeah. You know, well, Ken Weaver apparently had too much guacamole dip stuck in that thing that hangs off his chin. Got, not very attractive for Super Talk TV. So,
You know, I got accused on Friday of having the tunica flu, which was not true. I was down in the back and had to take the day off. More on that momentarily.
Oh, I've got things to say.
So I don't want to accuse Ken of having the Super Bowl flu, but a lot of people do today. A lot of people calling in on the Monday after the Super Bowl, which I think ought to be a national holiday.
yes,
what about you, fellas?
I was going to ask your feelings on that because every year there are demands that it be made a national holiday.
I mean, we'd have to trade one for another. I mean, what do we want to trade? We want to trade, President's Day? You want to give up President's Day?
Do we get off for President's Day?
Well, that's a week from today.
It is, and we could, but we choose not to. We take it. I mean, we take it as a comp day. I'm taking a comp day instead of President's Day. We do officially get it off as a holiday.
Next year, the day after the Super Bowl is President's Day.
Well, we should take the day then. You want to commit to it?
Yeah.
Me, you, and Jay. Hey, Jay, you in?
Hey, count me in.
Next year, on the Monday after the Super Bowl, we'll take in the day off. We're just saying to hell with it. And you know what we should do, Jackson? Jay can come if he wants to. I don't know if he wants to get involved in these types of shenanigans. Go over to Gatlinburg, rent a cabin, little Airbnb with a big old 85-inch television and watch the Super Bowl over there. Huh?
Yeah,
What about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me, too.
Or we could just watch it at Murphy-Lago. It's about the same drive.
It is about the same drive, actually. And I have a pretty big TV in the downstairs area where I was carrying books and the back went out. So, the back got really janky. It has been janky for some weeks, and it finally failed on me. And I apologize for not being here, but I do want to thank a couple of people. I was on the drugs over the course of the weekend. I do want to thank Brian Wilson for stepping up to the plate. He's a good man. He's a good friend, and he's a great broadcaster, and we are so lucky to have him in reserve on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Even in retirement, he's the hardest working man in retirement that I've ever met, and he stepped up, and I appreciate it. I wish I could say, Brian, that I listened to any portion of the show, but I was absolutely out of it between 3 and 7 this past Friday. Jackson, you want to join in here at this point?
So, Jay, I have to go at Mr. Murphy here.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
So, some people will do anything to get out of buying your buddy a lunch. Me and Matt had plans on Friday
I'd forgotten about it.
to go get us a nice meal.
I owe him lunch, Jay. I owe Jackson lunch.
It's all coming together, Jackson. I feel you.
And so we're like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it Friday.
Let's do it, we said.
And I'm getting ready for work. I'm going in Friday. And I get a text right as I'm leaving.
Yeah, you're excited about that lunch, are you?
Yeah, we're heading to the fanciest place on Demumbrian, Tin Roof.
Ooh, yeah.
And I get a text message. Not gonna make it today. My back's out.
Yes, a likely story.
I think you had the.
The what? The I don't want to buy Jackson lunch flu?
Yes.
Well, I'm still buying you lunch. That's the trouble with your theory is that doesn't absolve me of the lunch that I owe.
But will your back go out next time?
Maybe. My back might go out trying to lift my foot up to your rear end, which I don't think I can do right now. Yeah, that's what it was, Jackson. I was a little light in the wallet and wanted to make sure that we got to payday before I took you over to the very, very expensive Tin Roof. I was excited because I think they've got a pig in the potato patch that's what I call when you can get a baked potato with barbecue pork in it, I call it pig in the potato patch.
I like that.
Well, that's actually the name that I think Jim and Nick's barbecue joint, Jim and Nick's, calls their baked potato with pork in it. Anyway, I was excited about getting that. So a couple of things. I do want to thank my good friends and neighbors, Henry and Lisa. They are loyal listeners to the show, and they're now my new favorite next-door neighbors. No offense, Miss Sheila. I'm meeting all the neighbors. Jeff and Kathy are dead to me because they're moving. Hey, Jackson, I got a cue. So we moved to Mount Pleasant, and we're meeting the neighbors, and they're so wonderful. It's great to live in a small town. And Henry and Lisa heard that my back had gone out, and they had been out of town, and so Lisa was very sweet. She said, I'm making y'all some banana pudding. And it was delicious banana pudding, by the way. Oh, so good. It was so good, Jackson. I thought about bringing you some, and I decided, nah, I'm going to leave that at home. You know what I mean?
I love banana pudding.
Well, if there's any left, this is good stuff. And so thank you to Henry and Lisa for making banana pudding and for checking on me because my back was out. But, yeah, I met one of the neighbors a couple days ago. Well, I know I take that back. A week or so ago. It was before we officially moved in. Name was Jeff. And he's the neighbor that lives to the right of me. And after meeting Jeff, about a week after I met Jeff and said hello, I've not met Jeff's nice wife, Kathy. They put a for sale sign in their yard.
Smart man.
And so he's like, what in the hell did you, what, she didn't say hell, but what did you say to him? What did you do? You say 4 words. I was like, I had nothing to do with it. Turns out they're moving to be closer to the grandkids. But whatever, I got accused. So if y'all are looking for a fine place to live and want me as your neighbor, I am an awesome neighbor. I am tip top. And we're putting up a first-grade fence in the backyard right now. So y'all just hit me up, and I'll let you know where the house is, and y'all can buy it. It's a fixer-upper, though. Fair warning. So we've got lots to get into that doesn't have anything to do with my back. But thanks to Brian, I do appreciate you stepping up. You're a good man, and we thank you for it. We got a couple of things to tell you about. Before I get into content and some of the news that's happening today, I do want to remind you, I've been remiss in not reminding y'all that y'all need to get out this week to T-Line. I have no idea what my back's going to do, but we're going to give it a go.
Might get to see Matt Murphy being wheeled off in a genuine ambulance.
Yeah, did y'all see Lindsey Vaughn over the weekend?
Could be Matt Murphy this Thursday.
That could be me Thursday.
And you don't want to miss it.
In the parking lot with the helicopter lifting me up and taking me out of there as we're curling, man.
We're curling. And apparently Chad Benson's really good.
What do you mean Chad Benson's really good? He's never curled in his life.
You just said he's got didn't he just tell us he had like a team? Or was he pulling our leg?
I think he's making that up. I mean, I assumed he was making that up.
Chad's athletic. You don't.
I mean, Chad used to be athletic.
Chad played soccer.
Chad is a great golfer. I will give him that. Chad can just smash. Well, so I guess, Chad is athletic.
Chad reminds me of this guy I went to high school with. I actually watched the Super Bowl with him last night. Name's Austin.
Yeah.
He's just good at the most random sports. Not like the ones like the major American sports, although Austin was pretty good at baseball. But he's really good at like golf. He'll pick up curling really fast. I feel like Chad's going to be that guy, which is why.
Yeah, I mean, you've got athletic people and you've got non-athletic people. I always wanted to be an athletic person, and you just come to a point in life when you realize that you were just not graced with those skills. Chad was. I mean, he was a professional soccer player.
Yes.
For goodness sake. And he can crush a golf ball. I've seen it with my own eyes.
So I think I might go over to Chad's team.
No, that's not.
I'll be out there doing the show with
That's
them.
not an option. Now, you can do whatever you want to before I get there. But once I get there, you're on Team Murphy. You signed on the dotted line. That's not my bad. You can't just revert back to other teams now. You're on Team Murphy when I'm there.
I'm on team who's going to win.
I think we got a fair shot at it. I'm not very good, but I'm very competitive. I'll cheat.
Really, the
really.
teams are going to be the exact same because the people out there, the only thing that's going to change is you and Chad.
Well, here's what we beg of you to do is you come on out, you see us. I'll be broadcasting. I think Chad's doing his show out there. I'm doing my show out there. We're doing our show out there, I should say. So you grab your team, you hit the ice, test your skills. You can get a ticket for the ice time, 30-minute curling session, and an appetizer for only $25, which is pretty cool. So,
what kind of appetizers they got?
I don't know. That beats the heck out of me. Maybe, you know what I hope they have? I hope they have pork skins. Now, I don't know if they have pork skins, but I hope they have pork skins. If they do, I'm ordering the pork skins. I love some pork skins. You a pork skin guy?
They're good. They're fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we'll have a good time. I promise you that. It's this Thursday?
Yep.
This Thursday. Tickets and more information at 997WTN.com, 997WTN.com. Then there's this. And this is the big one. Join us for the Super Talk 99.7 WTN Stake of the Union event. See what we're doing there? It's the State of the Union, but we're calling it the Stake of the Union because we're watching at Legends Steakhouse in Smyrna. So you can break bread with us over dinner. I'll be broadcasting the entire show there. Dan, Chris, and Chad will join me I guess at 6 o'clock. That's the way we normally do it, leading right up to Donald Trump's address to the nation from the United States Capitol. There are only 100 tickets available. Every ticket comes with a sirloin steak, 2 sides, salad bar, cake, strawberry cake, non-alcoholic beverage of your choosing, and you can add on a different type of beverage if you so desire. Tax and gratuity, and it's just $100. So the money that you're spending is worth it for the food alone, but then you get the camaraderie and you get the fellowship and you get all of those things. Maybe some freebies. Maybe Jackson will bring some prizes. You never know.
What kind of prizes am I bringing?
I don't know. We've got to just
Am I going to that?
any crap that we can. I would assume you are.
Oh, lovely.
I mean, it's I said that if I broadcast live, I want you out there. People want to see you, man.
Oh, I'm going to have to wear something nice that day.
They want to see and be seen.
Today I'm wearing summer clothes.
You're wearing T-shirts and shorts. You're wearing a T-shirt and shorts today.
It's 70 degrees outside. When in February do you get to wear a T-shirt and shorts?
It was negative 14.
I looked at the weather app. I was like, oh, it's a shorts day.
It is kind of, I mean, I overdressed. I'm beginning to think I'm going to have to take off this, I mean, it's not even a puffy jacket. It's just kind of I don't even know what the hell you would call this. It's a sweater is what it is. It's like a Mr. Rogers. So if you are a frenemy of Matt Murphy's, today's your day. If you ever wanted to come at me about any issue, today's your day. So line them up on the phone, 615-737-9986. But before I get too ahead of myself, go to 997WTN.com and go ahead and get your ticket. Once again, it is an incredible meal and fellowship, and it's all for just $100. And I tell you, once you have the food, you'll know that it's well worth it. And the camaraderie of having Dan Mandis. I mean, Dan Mandis will. It's my understanding, and I'm not telling tales out of school. This was talked about that Dan. If you buy a ticket to this event and you request it, that Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News will personally cut your steak for you, which I think is very big of him. I think that's very nice. I will not, but Dan will personally cut your steak for you if you go ahead and purchase your ticket right now.
And when he's done, he gives you a kiss on the forehead.
Give you a little kiss on the, well, I thought it was on cheek, but whatever, forehead, cheek, either way. Go to 997WTN.com. The Nashville Electric Service, we're not going to spend all day on it, don't you fear. I know that we have talked about this a lot, but with good reason. People have been greatly impacted. People are out a tremendous amount of money. People's property has been damaged, and that's the least of it. People have died in Davidson County, and I believe those deaths are at very least indirectly attributable to the failures of Nashville Electric Service, the failures to communicate, the failures to get the power back on in a timely fashion, the failures to pre-stage, the failures to recognize the serious nature and severity of the event, the lies and nonsense that they've been telling about tree trimming versus, oh, this was an unprecedented event, which we know that it was not. All of these things in the aftermath of this have led some to suggest that it is time for a change in leadership. One of those people is the Speaker of the House of the state of Tennessee, Cameron Sexton. He will join us via phone at 4:05 this afternoon to talk about his effort to get new leadership and to get better representation for the Nashville Electric Service area. The Nashville Electric Service area covers far more than just Davidson County, 6 other counties, as a matter of fact. And we need to do something about that. They were trying to play damage control earlier today. I'll tell you exactly what they said and break that down for you. Number 2, the Super Bowl was yesterday. I watched no Puppy Bowl. I watched no Bunny Bowl. I watched no Turning Point USA Bowl. I watched no Toilet Bowl. I watched no bowl. I watched some of the Super Bowl, I guess. The game was on in the background for what it was worth. I watched very, very little of the commercials. And, so I do have something to say about this, though. And I'll tell you what, we're going to do NES right after the bottom of the hour because I got something to say in a minute. And I need your assessment of the halftime show.
Okay.
Because I'm hearing a lot of random assessments. Everybody's angry that people are angry. And you know what my response to this? Why in the hell are we spending so much emotional energy over something that doesn't matter one bit. And if you think it does matter, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen. But I have a difficult time understanding why I should expend the amount of emotional energy that I see some commentators expending. And trust me, oh, it's big business, right? Oh, come on the day after the Super Bowl and just scream and yell about the halftime show for an hour and a half. I don't care. I didn't watch it, and I don't care. But I have a few things to say about it. And we'll get an assessment from Young Jackson, a.k.a. Jay Willie, a.k.a. Y2J, a.k.a. Truffle Butter, in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WT. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The Tennessee Men's Clinic now has three, count them, 1, 2, 3, locations in Middle Tennessee for you. Now, there's one, the original, in Midtown Nashville. You've got the other second location that opened up several years ago in the the Cool Springs, Franklin area, Cool Springs, Franklin. And now number 3 is in Clarksville. And they've got plans for Murfreesboro. They got plans for you. More on that coming up in the next several weeks and months. Bottom line is this, friends. If you're looking for relief, if you've noticed that there are certain things, certain aspects of your life that just aren't working the way that they used to, it's time to get to the Tennessee Men's Clinic and see what they can do for you, and they can help. They will tailor a plan specific to your needs. They understand that cookie-cutter programs don't work. That's why you shouldn't go online for that sort of thing. You need to go to a qualified urologist at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Let them check you out for $99. You get a full examination, plus if medically advised, they'll offer you a treatment on your first visit at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to Tennessee Men's Clinic website at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com or call them today. For any of those locations, same number, 615-208-9090, 615-208-9090.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, unredacted documents of the Epstein files, have been released, and we'll have some congressional reaction. Also, the Guthrie family releasing a new video of the disappearance of their mother, Nancy. We'll again have that coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ms. Beasley did make a nice nurse this weekend. Very sweet. Munson, not so much. Munson's very concerned with the squirrel population, the greater squirrel population in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee. Hello, it's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, back after a week of rest and weekend of rest and relaxation. John in Lawrenceburg says, welcome back, Matt, and your bad back from carrying Jackson every show. No question. No question. It's tough duty. So maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I'm supposed to be all upset and all excitable about a Super Bowl halftime show that I did not see. But I just have a hard time expending the emotional energy that I watch people expend to get all mad about it. What did you expect? Was last year for you? No. Year before that? 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 No. Oh, that Prince was pretty good. Yeah. Year before that? No. I mean, what the hell is it going to take for you not to be surprised about any of this? Number two, all of y'all that say, well, the NFL's shooting us the bird, they hate America. The NFL has the United States of America wrapped around its finger. And they know they've already got the old white dudes watching anyway. Number two, I just walk. All you have to do is walk. You don't have to stand there and take it. You just walk. Or if it gets bad enough for you, just don't watch the game at all. Number three, I don't understand why you're so angry about it. We all said, in years past, we've said, well, this isn't for me. Why don't they do some programming for me? Why isn't there programming out there for me during the halftime? Well, there was this year, the Turning Point USA event, which it's my understanding got incredible rating. I mean, it was viewed by like 10 million people or something like that. So isn't that what you wanted? You wanted alternative programming that's more geared toward what you like, and so you got that from a different source, and we watched that and we enjoyed that. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch any of it. So there are so many things that I think merit the level of emotional energy, and this isn't one of them. Now, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, y'all tell me why I'm wrong. Am I not seeing something here? Am I not understanding the big picture here? Every year it's the same thing. Every year people pretend like this is the first year this has happened, and this has been happening for the last 20 years. Oh, yeah, I was watching Justin Timberlake. I saw the nipple. Isn't that where I don't think it even started then. I think it was happening before then.
That was a good halftime show.
So Janet Jackson?
Yes.
And Justin Timberlake? 32 after the hour. I am late. Jay Harper is awaiting the news at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
"32 minutes past 3 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a weather forecast, which is almost spring-like, as well as a traffic report. They're both on the way. As of today, members of Congress can now review unredacted versions of the Epstein files. ABC's Stephen Portnoy, he's in D.C. with more.
Democrat says 4 computers have been set up at a Justice Department office for members of Congress to review the raw version of the files.
There are tons of mysterious redactions.
Asked if he's seen a smoking gun yet, Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin said he only had time to review 30 to 40 documents himself and that it could take months for members to go through all the pages. So far, Raskin says he has seen that names have been blacked out when they shouldn't have been.
That's troubling to us.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
NBC Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. She's out now with a new message today. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
With her mother still missing and law enforcement seemingly having little to go on, Savannah Guthrie posting a new video, this time not to the captors, but to the public.
We believe our mom is still out there.
She's calling on people around the world to report anything that might be connected.
No matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson. If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
We now know how actress Catherine O'Hara passed away, best known for movie roles like those in those Home Alone films. The reporter out in Los Angeles, that would be Alex Stone, he has this report as well.
Catherine O'Hara's cause of death is revealed in a death certificate obtained by ABC News. Her doctor certified her death as being from a pulmonary embolism, or a blood clot blocking a pulmonary artery in the lung. It also lists an underlying condition of rectal cancer. O'Hara died on January 30th after the LA Fire Department responded to a medical aid call at her home. She was transported to a hospital and was pronounced dead. O'Hara was 71 years old.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather there next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We have a stalled vehicle that's blocking the left lane up in the Rivergate area. This would be 65 southbound right before you get to Vietnam Vets. That accident, 24 eastbound near Old Hickory Boulevard in the Whites Creek area, that's been cleared, but still a little back up there. 24 westbound near Shelby Avenue on the East Bank, we have a wreck. And in the Jolton part of town, 24 westbound before exit 35, a crash reported there. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy. And, you know, I was just texting with my good friend Keith over at Contours LLC. And Keith listens to the show. And he was like, Murph, you got to get over here. We need to get the red light therapy on that back of yours. We need to get you get you into a less painful situation, get some better results, because red light therapy is for more than just losing inches, right? I mean, that therapy can work in a variety of different ways, and I'm excited about getting over there later on in the week. We were just setting something up. I'm excited about getting you over there as well. Contours LLC understands that, you know, maybe you have tried over the last month or so to lose weight on your own. Maybe you've not had the results that you've perhaps hoped for. Maybe it's just more difficult than you've remembered in the past. Well, red light therapy is an incredible way to help lose these inches. And our friends at Contours have an incredible deal running for you, $99 Belly Buster special. That means you walk in the door, you pay $99. You are guaranteed to lose 2 inches off your midsection, or you pay nothing. I lost 2.67 inches first treatment. First treatment. It works, folks. I know it works. You'll know it works. It just does. Ask Keith and Stephanie about Contours LLC. It's safe, it's painless, it's effective, and it can help you lose the inches. Call today at 615-236-9960, 236-9960, or find them online at ContoursLLC.com. What do you have to lose but inches? Hey, friends, Matt Murphy. You know, today is the 9th day of February. That means that Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Guys, it's time to go over the top this Valentine's. Make it a statement, Valentine's Day, one that she'll be talking about for years and years and years to come, something that's personal, romantic, meaningful. I'm talking about something amazing from Genesis Diamonds that she can keep for years and years. Flowers are wonderful. Flowers are nice, but nothing is more timeless than an incredible bracelet, a pair of diamond earrings, a colored gemstone pendant from Genesis Diamonds. They've put together a special selection of thoughtful, affordable gifts, including new creations from their exclusive designers, unique pieces that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, they have an incredible value vault, right? The new Genesis half-price vault, a special section of exquisite jewelry with an incredible 50% off the original price. That's an incredible deal. Genesis has amazing jewelry, and they've got something in your budget. Genesis Diamonds, Cool Springs, and Green Hills. Stop by for Valentine's Day and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us. 41 after the hour. I once again just to tell you where I just have no emotional pull regarding something that I did not watch, and I take it upon myself. I mean, look, and I wasn't making any grandiose statement. I was down in the back and doing other things. I mean, I'm not above the Super Bowl. I had the Super Bowl on in the background, but I missed all of the halftime stuff. All of it. I didn't watch Turning Point USA. I didn't watch the Bad Bunny performance. I didn't watch the Puppy Bowl. I didn't watch any of it. Now, Jackson did, and I'm going to get him to give me a review of the Bad Bunny deal, but it's my understanding it was all in Spanish. It was my understanding that it was very, very Puerto Rican flavored. And
it was fun.
And Jackson says it was fun. Hold on, I'm getting your review in a second. After 7027 says, yes, pick between a middle finger by the NFL or give more money to Kirk's grifting wife. And I said, or any of the other 168 channels out there. You could pick one of those if you wanted to watch television or not watch television at all. I mean, and 7027 has responded and said, that's not the point, Murphy. No one in power is for us. No matter where you go with your person, no matter which side you pick, it's all malice. I have one side, and that's my side. I am a fierce independent. I am fiercely defensive of my personal liberty and personal independence. I don't belong to your club, whatever your club is. I would not, as Groucho Marx famously said, I would not belong to any club that would have me as a member. So I make determinations about what I absorb in my life based on me, not based on group. So, you know, Jackson, would you agree with 2436? Before I get to 2436, give me your viewpoint. What was it like? Tell me.
It was fine. I mean, it was every other Super Bowl halftime show. It didn't start great. I didn't think it had a good opening.
Mm-hmm.
But Lady Gaga was cool. She sang a Bruno Mars song.
Did she? Why didn't
That was
Bruno
cool.
Mars sing a Bruno?
I have no idea. That was kind of weird, but it was cool. It was cool. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fine.
Are you familiar with Bad Bunny?
He's been on SNL a ton. You know, I'm a big SNL guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot. I mean, it was a lot like his musical performances with a much cooler set. So
This fella speak of the English? He does, right? He speaks English, can he?
he
Or
didn't.
do you know?
He didn't last night.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, but that was kind of the point,
But
right?
his songs are Latin American. It's Latin American music.
Right. He's from Puerto Rico, and he caters to a Latin American audience.
Yes, which the NFL is trying to grab.
Was it? Someone wrote in and said it was 30 minutes of crotch grabbing while children watched. Is that fair?
I didn't notice it being out no more than any other. I mean, think about what the Super Bowl halftime show has been the last 5 years. Would you say any of them qualified as that? If you did, then
I feel like that we've always done this in society where the older generation doesn't really I mean, there was a time, right? I mean,
I was half watching also. Like, I was with my buddies. We were just kind of talking, hanging out.
yeah, you're not really paying any attention to it, I suppose. I mean, or you're paying half attention to it.
Yeah, like it's on, like it was on, and I saw like the big move. Like I really like what I saw were the set changes, which were really cool. He had a really cool set. I noticed Lady Gaga, and that was about it.
Well, somebody wrote me and said that I wish, was this on my text? I'm not sure if this was text or not. No, somebody said, I guess it was on the super text line, said, I just wish they would do the, oh, no, it was on my Twitter feed. Hold on, I want to read this to you guys because this is, somebody said, I just wish, I'm not upset about Bad Bunny, writes Eddie. I think the NFL should put on a show that the people in the stands want to see. Chad said, Bad Bunny speaks to the young demographic. I don't think many young people pay $10,000 to attend the Super Bowl. Know your audience. I mean, no offense, Eddie, but the halftime show isn't for the stadium. What are you talking about?
You can barely see it.
Yeah, the halftime show, it was years ago that the halftime show stopped being for the people in the stadium. The halftime show is for television.
Did
period.
you see the set? It was like a box on the field.
I saw there was one a couple of years ago where they were walking through boxes and they were
that
underneath.
was The Weeknd. I really like The Weeknd. I've actually seen The Weeknd at concert. He's really cool.
But yeah, I mean, the halftime show is not for the people in the stadium. And all I saw a still shot of all of the grass people. There were grass people.
Yes, there were people. So like he had like a cornfield of like.
Corn people?
No, they were working in the cornfield. I don't know how big this thing was. That's the one thing you can see in person.
Was it sugar cane?
I think it was corn.
Was
I
it
think
corn?
it was corn.
Okay, maybe.
What is?
I don't know.
It was some kind of.
It was sugar cane.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, in Puerto Rico, it probably would have been sugar cane. That's the only reason. I mean, because it was Puerto Rican themed. It was
Yes.
Latin American themed. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah.
It was a C+. They're all about a C+.
Keith said they need to go back to the kids' punt, pass, and kick competition.
I don't think that was ever a Super Bowl halftime thing.
I don't think it was either.
Because they did it at the Titan Stadium. Because there's a video of a pretty viral video. You know who Pat McAfee is?
I do.
He competed in the punt, pass, and kick championship.
You know, that's the most ageist thing you've ever said to me.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you know who Pat McAfee? I mean, I'm not 90.
You sure? But Pat McAfee They did the punt, pass, and kick championship at the Titans Stadium.
And he was a part
at
of it.
halftime of a divisional game between the Titans and the Steelers. And I think Pat won. So it's never been a Super Bowl thing.
Well, there are local regional competitions that will appear at just regular NFL games. And I believe in the past they would have the finals at the Pro Bowl. And of course,
that wouldn't make sense.
And of course, the Pro Bowl's just turned into nothing anymore.
4756 says, I think they should put the marching bands back on. It'd be funny when all 200 members grabbed their crotches. Sally says, here's my take on the Super Bowl of the halftime events. On both sides, whether it be Turning Point or the NFL, Jimmy cracked corn, and I don't care. Yeah, I mean, I just... Dave said, I found the Super Bowl in Spanish on Telemundo. I went back watching something else on Telemundo. So, yeah, if I watched on Telemundo, would the Bad Bunny halftime show be in English? That would be funny. Look, Jim says, back when the NFL allowed Colin Kaepernick and all his boys to disrespect my values, I was offended and I walked away. I haven't watched their product for years, and I don't miss them. And they don't piss me off because I choose not to give them my time. Well, that's the way it goes. I mean, good for you, Jim. That's the way you do it. I haven't watched SNL in years either. I don't miss it either. I wish I could turn off all of those stupid protesters. I would not miss those idiots either. Brian says the music sucked regardless of the language. The sound was horrible. Probably says 0639, the reason a lot of Christians and patriots didn't like the halftime show is because Green Day hates America and patriotism. So does Bad Bunny. It was really geared to promote the gay and lesbian culture along with the trans culture. That's what they're really promoting. And, of course, younger people are not going to catch on to that because it's more their daily life. But that's the way the devil works. Well, we can turn our back on it, and there you go. And a lot of people did, and a lot of people enjoyed watching other programming, and I did not watch any of it. There are a lot of things that I would suggest to you merit. I just go back to the emotional energy of this. And how different. I understand that it's different. I understand that it's progressed, but the United States of America was shocked and appalled and disgusted at Elvis Presley. Right? The older generation was disgusted at Elvis Presley in as much as he was, quote, gyrating on television. I would suggest that most of us that are alive today don't really have that much of a problem with Elvis Presley. I'm not suggesting that abusing children regarding, transgenderism, I mean, that's something to invest emotional energy in to protect the young people. Or we could just turn this off. I don't understand what people want. Because the NFL is not lacking for viewership. The Super Bowl is not lacking for viewership. If they were, they would change their ways. So if there were enough of us or you that were demanding something different, it's a free market system and you would get something different. And if you turn your back on it and walk away from it, that's your choice. What I liked about this year, and look, I'm not accustomed to taking the positive road here. I'm not accustomed to turning negativity into positivity or to turning pessimism into optimism. But wasn't it nice that you had an alternative this year? You could go watch the Turning Point USA show if you didn't want to watch the other thing. I mean, my biggest beef was that it was a sucky football game.
Yeah, the game wasn't good.
And the Super Bowl has just become something of a spectacle that, frankly, I'm just kind of turning my back on when I don't have a rooting interest. I didn't watch many of the commercials.
Commercials were fun.
Were they? What was the best one?
Best one, my favorite, honestly, was probably the one you showed me today because I saw it, but I didn't know.
It was Andy Samberg?
I did not know that was Andy Samberg doing the Neil Diamond bit, and that was awesome.
Oh, no. I think he was calling himself Meal Diamond.
Yeah,
and
Meal Diamond.
The Hellman's commercial?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, it was good. It was so good.
You good in there?
Did you see that?
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm glad you saw it because I thought I was going blind. In addition to my back problems, I thought, oh my, here goes the eyesight now. Yeah, we had a little flicker going on. By the way, speaking of flickers, and we'll get to a break and we'll get more of your calls. So, and we'll talk about NES at the top of the hour with Cameron Sexton. So, I know we've made some headway on the television side of things. We're still waiting on a few parts that will advance our abilities to get back to normal greatly. We had a few technical issues last week. Many of you concerned about that because many of you, thankfully, are over there watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. We thank you for that. If you're on Spotify or TuneIn or iHeart or our app or Talk Television of any sort, we thank you for that. We understand that there are still a few glitches and whatever that we're trying to get repaired. And by the end of the week, we feel like we'll be back up and running with gas. Speedy as can be. 53 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Holly, David, and the rest of the crew out at Savory Spice. Such deliciousness going on in Franklin, just off the square next to Gray's Pharmacy. Walk in and smell the aroma. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, it smells so good inside Savory Spice. I mean, you'll smell some cinnamon and some nutmeg, and you might smell some like taco seasoning, and you might smell oregano or some Italian blend over there. And you've got the salts and the different blends and the peppers. I mean, so good. Something for every taste, something for every flavor. They've got it at Savory Spice. Doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. As a matter of fact, these prices are the same for superior spices at Savory Spice. Plus, you'll find things you can't find in the big box stores at Savory Spice. And you got Holly and David. They're locally owned. They understand what they're doing. They are the spice experts, and they can help lead you in the right direction if you're looking for something exotic, or if you're just a newbie in the kitchen and you're looking to get your spices going. To get that spice rack stocked, they can do so at Savory Spice as well. Plus the Spice and Easy line of products. Savory Spice, located just off the square in Franklin. Go by and see them today, and be sure to tell them that Matt Murphy told you to up your food game. And you up your food game by upping your spice game. And you up your spice game at Savory Spice.
Coming up on 4 p.m., I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a forecast and a traffic report coming up. The Trump administration now going to bat for Steve Bannon in court as he seeks to wipe out his 2022 conviction for contempt of Congress. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more from D.C.
Former Trump senior advisor Steve Bannon spent 4 months in prison for refusing to appear before the House January 6th committee. But now, as Bannon pursues an appeal of his conviction to the Supreme Court, the Trump administration is getting behind him. Its new brief at the High Court says the government has determined in its prosecutorial discretion that dismissal of this criminal case is in the interests of justice. Bannon has insisted in refusing to provide testimony he was aiming to protect Trump's executive privilege.
Ghislaine Maxwell, she appeared before the House Oversight Committee today in a closed-door virtual Q&A. The convicted co-conspirator of the late sex offender repeatedly exercised her Fifth Amendment right and requested clemency from the president. ABC's Jay O'Brien, he reports he's on Capitol Hill.
So there were Republicans on this panel who said they were frustrated with Ghislaine Maxwell not answering their questions. And the chairman of the Oversight Committee, a Republican himself, said he doesn't believe that Maxwell should be given any clemency from President Trump. But Democrats went even further, and they accused Maxwell of essentially trying to play President Trump here, of dangling the possibility of absolving him of any kind of a speculation as to his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Trump has always denied any wrongdoing and any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, for the possibility of clemency here.
Back here in Nashville, a man faces serious charges following a South Nashville hazmat incident involving an explosive device. Specialized investigation detectives arrested 37-year-old Brandon Holt late Saturday night. Metro Police say he used gasoline to make an explosive device and leave it in a dumpster at a Mapco store on Nolensville Pike at about 7:30 on Friday night. State and federal agencies who responded to the scene confirmed the object to be an improvised explosive device. According to police, a truck driver, he was delivering fuel to the store. He saw Holt with the item and also talked with him when Holt asked him what type of gasoline, quote, burns quicker. Holt then bought a buck's worth of gas to fill a compartment of the device. He also asked the driver and the clerk for some tape for that device. Holt is charged with possessing a prohibited improvised explosive weapon. He was booked into the Davidson County Jail on Sunday morning with a bond set at $150,000, but he's not eligible for release. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We have an accident blocking things. I-440 eastbound just past the Nolensville Pike exit. That would be exit 6. A stalled vehicle interrupting traffic 65 northbound before Vietnam Vets. 24 westbound in the Jolton area. We have a wreck now just before Whites Creek Pike near the Capitol. James Robertson Parkway at Rosa Parks Boulevard. A crash reported. Also, we have another Nolensville Pike just south of Edmondson Pike, Wallace Road. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 6 minutes after 4. Good afternoon. Welcome in. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Pleased to be with you on a Monday, February the 9th. For those not listening in the first hour, thanks again to Brian Wilson for subbing in for me as I was absent on Friday. I appreciate you, Brian. All right, we're done at least for now on the matter of Super Bowl and halftime show. I just once again I have only a finite amount of emotional energy that I can expend on any given number of subjects, and it's become a tradition that people just get outraged. It feels like just to get outraged, and I understand that if it wasn't for you, it wasn't for you. I didn't watch any of it, so I don't feel well prepared.
Your name's Bennett, and you're not in it.
My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it. So you know what? I got 168 channels or whatever it is. I can watch a lot of different things. I can watch Andy Griffith 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never see anything about any of this. So in the meantime, I do want to spend some emotional energy on this subject. Teresa Broyles-Applin, who should be the former CEO of Nashville Electric Service, sadly she is not. She said during a board meeting earlier today, that the company's forthcoming, quote, independent after-action review for Winter Storm Fern, as they call it, which just came through. I hate the fact they're naming these storms. I think it's stupid, but whatever. Would include a resiliency assessment, which would lead to, quote, increased vegetation management to reduce outage risk. Speaking during the special board meeting earlier today, and I'm reading now from the Tennessee Star article, Broyles-Applin recommended an aggressive timeline for the after-action report, said that renewed focus on tree trimming and vegetation management would be the final of 4 pillars guiding the assessment. A study to determine the feasibility of burying more power lines in Nashville will also be a part of the 4th pillar. It's my understanding they did that in 1994 after that big ice storm, too. The other pillars of the after-action review will explore how NES can enhance emergency management leadership, improve internal coordination, review and refine our estimated time of restoration practices, including how the company develops the estimates given to the customers. Here's the deal. One thing that needs to happen is this person needs to be replaced. Another thing that needs to happen, in my opinion, is that we need to see Nashville Electric Service have representation for all of its customers in the region that it serves. To speak on these matters, we welcome back to the show Cameron Sexton, the Speaker of the House of the Tennessee General Assembly. He joins us on the Murphy Show hotline this afternoon. Cameron, good afternoon. Welcome in. I hope you're well.
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you. I did hear Brian's voice on Friday. It took me a minute to recognize who it was. So
Wow, man. I appreciate it, Brian. I was down in the back on Friday, Cameron. I moved. I got too many books. If you want to buy books, I was moving, and, oh, man, these book boxes will kill you. Getting old. My grandpa always said getting old is hell, but it beats Plan B. So, anyway, so this this Monday morning board meeting, I don't know if you caught much of this. If so, what's your reaction to what they're saying?
Well, they're in spin control right now. Usually when you go through a crisis, you're trying to figure out how to right the ship, and you're trying to do everything you can to pacify the audience, whoever those are, who they're talking to, depending on what that looks like. Theirs obviously is to people who have electricity in Nashville, so everybody, and outside of Nashville. But look, it was, as I said, it was a disaster within a disaster. The leadership was ineffective. They were inept, and everybody out here knows that the leadership should be replaced. And the question is, should the board be replaced? I think it should be. I think it needs a wholesale change. I don't think we want to go through another natural disaster. I don't think people trust them on the direction they're going to go. But every time they talk, they're just trying to spin it to try to get people to quit paying attention or to check a box off. And that seems like what they're doing. Like they're donating $1 million to somewhere. They said they're going to trim trees more, but they admitted for the last 3 to 4 years that they've only got 75% of what they were trying to do. Look, it's ineffective and it needs to change. And that's what happens sometimes when you have the government entity running public utilities.
So you have taken a pretty strong stand on this matter, especially when it comes to a lack of representation in the outlying communities, right? I mean, it's one thing that Davidson County elects their leadership, and if only Davidson County was impacted by a lack of leadership on the board or in the CEO's office at Nashville Electric Service, that would be one thing. But you've got Rutherford County and Williamson County and I think 4 other counties that are impacted by this. And what can we do? What can you do, I guess I should say pointedly, as a General Assembly potentially, to give some of those folks a little more say in how this system is run?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways. One is we could vacate the board and we could expand the board options and give more representation to the other counties that they represent, as well as break up who appoints. Right now, the mayor appoints all the board. I think Mayor O'Connell has 2 or 3 of them that he's appointed. The others were leftovers. That would be a start. But the board, I think from the state's position, when I talk to members, is the board needs to take decisive action against leadership. And if they don't, then there could be an issue here very soon. We got caption bills ready to handle whatever. The other issue that I've heard about is the SEIU, which is the union of the Public Service Union, which includes linemen and other people. They have come out and they're telling people behind the scenes that you better not let the CEO go. So now you have the union trying to dictate who the leader of the company is going to be for obvious reasons. I guess they feel like they work very well with her for obvious reasons, but doesn't work well for the public as a whole based on electricity. So now you have a union that's very engaged. I don't like unions. I don't think they should be dictating to Metro, whether it's the administration, whether it's to the board or anybody else, who the CEO should be. That should be up to the board and up to Nashville. But it should also be up to the ratepayers. Look, the people need to have a say. And right now, the people don't have a say in Nashville about who the CEO is because they have no representation. If you look at the co-ops in the state of Tennessee, the co-ops are run by the ratepayers. The board is selected by the ratepayers. I'm not going to say that we might not push to move Nashville Electric to a co-op and move it out of a public government entity that fails to take action, decisive action, and put it into a co-op that is managed and basically owned by the ratepayers.
So this is a new aspect of this story that you're just bringing to the table. Cameron Sexton with us, Speaker of the House of the General Assembly of the state of Tennessee. So the union is now speaking out, and it sounded, the way you just described it, sounded like a veiled threat that you better not replace the CEO of Nashville Electric Service. Is that the way you would describe it?
That's what we're hearing is they came out gently at the beginning saying, we like the CEO, we don't think there's any change. And then roughly behind the scenes, they have increased pressure saying that they would not, that there would be potential actions if they do let the CEO go. But at the end of the day, that's not the union's job. Their job is not to protect the CEO. Their job is not to dictate who runs that company. That's why I don't like unions. They get a little bit bigger than their britches sometimes. But if you had ratepayers involved, the union would not be telling the co-op who was going to run that co-op. And the other thing I do know is Nashville infrastructure needs a lot of upgrades, and there's not a lot of money that Nashville has access to do those upgrades, whether it's water, sewer, electrical, underground electrical. All those things take a lot of money. The sale of NES to a co-op would solve a lot of infrastructure problems and put them on a path to actually take care of the basic need of the people who live here in Davidson County.
Wait, help me out here. I should know the answer to this question, but I do not. I know that because of the ice storm, the General Assembly extended the filing deadline to when? Is it over? Is the filing deadline done?
Filing deadline. Oh, for bills?
Yeah, for bills.
Yeah, I mean I'm sorry. Yeah, I was trying to.
No.
We have election filing deadlines too.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So it was done Tuesday last week. But we made sure
are there placeholders
on Monday that we have placeholders to handle anything that we need to do with NES.
Well, I mean and that was you caught the nature of the question there, is because obviously you would need something in place that you could amend, and that's the way that. And for those that don't know, if you don't have the full structure of a bill complete, you can put something in place prior to the deadline, and then you can add amendments and alter the bill significantly. So there's something in place that would give you all the ability, if necessary, to do things that would better help the ratepayers in the event that NES decides to do nothing.
Yes, we could vacate the board. We could go all the way up to forcing a sale to a co-op. We could do anything in between. And that's the thing. I'm sure they're trying to look for some scapegoat over there. That's why it's the entire leadership. Like when you have that type of failure, the only solution is to clean house and bring new people in who are actually qualified to run a utility. And I'm not sure right now, based on those responses, that we have the best person at NES for the state or for Nashville who is the most qualified to run that electrical.
Well, I mean, I've asked this pointed question of a number of leaders, to include Senator Blackburn and others, and I'll ask you, Speaker Sexton, do you believe the time has come that NES needs new leadership?
It definitely needs new leadership, definitely needs a new board, but I also would say it may be time for NES to sell and for Nashville to get out of government-run utilities and let it run to a co-op. Look, the co-ops in our state have run very well. Middle Tennessee Electric has run very well. Murfreesboro Public Utilities sold to a co-op not too long ago. They've been able to take in a lot of money that they could use for other purposes. And since the sale of Murfreesboro, you have not really heard of any issue with their co-op and Middle Tennessee Electric Co-op. But it does put the ratepayers in charge, and the ratepayers are the ones who elect the board from that point forward.
I love it. I love the idea, and I hope that it is under strong consideration for those of you in the General Assembly that we make that move. And it would seem to me that it would be a positive step forward, even for local leadership. I don't know where the mayor is on it. Obviously, I understand that politicians are loath to give up a level of power when they have appointing authority like that, but I think it would be in the best interest of the ratepayers, particularly considering that they've clearly not, they've not been doing their job. I mean, right, the whole canopy stuff, and now everything that they've done in the aftermath of the storm seems to be designed to protect themselves as opposed to be forward-facing toward the ratepayers and toward the customers that have been impacted by the storms. I mean, it was in the pre-planning stages, disastrous. During the storm, disastrous. The linemen were busting it and doing everything that they could, but sadly there weren't enough of them. And then the communication levels in the aftermath have just been awful as well.
Oh, it has been. And then when they get questions from the media and they say, well, we can't onboard this many people that quick because of how complex our system is. And then 2 days later, they're like, oh, well, we just increased by 500. And I'm like, well, which one is it, right?
Right.
Which is it? And then when you find out for people to come in to work during the disaster, they had to spend a minimum of a half a day through training before they could ever get out on the streets to actually do anything. And so the whole thing is a debacle. And so it makes you question who's running it. Are the union members running it, the SEIU, or is the NES running it? But at the end of the day, leadership is leadership, and it's not effective, and it needs to be replaced. I hope that Metro government replaces the board, and a new board will go in and do it. But at this point, it looks like, based on what I'm hearing, is the state's going to have to take action, unfortunately.
Well, and what I heard late last week, Cameron, and I don't know if you're getting some of this in the halls of the General Assembly, but because of their partnership with Finn Partners, which is a public relations firm in the state, and I don't know anybody over there. I'm not pointing fingers at Finn Partners. I'm just saying it appears that their relationship with NES, instead of Finn focusing on customer relations and getting better communications to the customers in the aftermath of the storm, they had Finn focus to the General Assembly and to others within the political system to make sure that they protected themselves. You understand what I mean? They're focusing on crisis management internally as opposed to crisis management externally, which tells me everything I need to know about where the leadership's mindset is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's right. They're all trying to spin the story to pacify the public. And, I've had conversations with member of Metro and saying perception and reality. They want to argue reality, which nobody understands what the reality is that they're arguing. But the perception from the public is the reality because they experienced the failure. They experienced the disaster. They understand it. So that's the perception and that's the reality. And it doesn't seem that NES really cares about that perspective.
So the possibilities, just to put a bow on it and recap, the possibilities are that the General Assembly could move to dissolve the board. The possibility exists that the General Assembly could move to create a co-op that would be owned by the ratepayers as opposed to owned by the city.
Correct, which I think would work well. That worked well in this disaster.
Yeah.
You didn't really hear all these issues from the co-ops, and they actually trimmed the canopies. They actually prepared their staff for disasters. They worked well with TEMA. I mean, look, TEMA was just as frustrated with NES as anybody, and so it solves a lot of problems. But at the end of the day, you want to be able to help people in their moment of crisis. NES failed at all levels of it. And for anyone to argue that they should stay in their positions is diabolical.
No, it's absurd.
And
it's absurd.
They need to change.
It's absolutely absurd. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate you being on top of the story. I want to have you back, and we can talk about a lot of things that are going on in the General Assembly, but wanted to focus on this very important story before we got too far away from us, because as well as I do, that the leadership over there, they're hoping that days and weeks and months pass before any commission report comes out so that the emotions of the moment die down. I don't want to allow that to happen because it was too disastrous of a week for the people in the Middle Tennessee region to let it go without some changes being made. And I appreciate you spearheading that in the General Assembly.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right,
totally agree.
All right,
Thank
take
you
care. All right, take care. There's Cameron Sexton, Speaker of the House, joining us for a few good minutes, 22 after the hour. Your thoughts on it? 615-737-9986. They're actually continuing the argument that they spent more money on canopy removal or tree mitigation last year than they did the year before, despite the fact that their very own reports show otherwise. I'll explain that to you in a moment. Take your telephone calls 23 after the hour on Super Talk. When it came time to get some homeowners insurance, there was only one that I would choose. It's the one that I've been recommending to you for some time. It's King and Associates Insurance. Your home and your automobile are two of your bigger investments. At King and Associates, they protect both with coverage that fits your life and fits your budget. And I know that this is less expensive, and I know that it works. Why? Because I've done it. When I got homeowners, my man Emery said, Matt, look, I think you should strongly consider getting insurance with our auto as well. We're going to bundle that up. We're going to save you a lot of money. And they did. They saved me $300 annually on my auto alone. Thank you to King and Associates. They're local. They're independent. They work for you, not the big insurance companies, which is nice. Visit tkinginsurance.com. That's tkinginsurance.com. Call 329-8121. That's 329-8121 for a free quote today. tkinginsurance.com. King and Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, an arrest for a man allegedly who solicited a teen at a Nashville shopping mall. And apparently banging on a plastic bucket in downtown Nashville, it can get you arrested if you're not careful. Yeah, we'll have what that's all about. That's coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Your call's on the way, John, Dave, and another John. 2 Johns and a Dave. Right, 1905 writes in and says, forget the halftime show. Let's talk about something even more egregious. I just heard the newscast about the boys that drum on plastic buckets on Broadway being arrested. Was that our newscast? I missed it if that was the case.
Yeah, and I'm ironically, I'm going to have that very story here in just a moment.
Okay.
There's more to the story than just banging on buckets.
Okay. All right. Well, I look forward to the rest of that story. In 1905, I hope you listen up. Perhaps you can get a little bit more of the story. Because 1905 says, they've been down there entertaining people on the sidewalk for nearly a decade. Why is Metro now harassing them? Nashville moving even further away from the old charm and magic of Broadway for big corporate bars. Shameful. Well, I mean, that's been a long time making. So we'll get some of the backstory on that coming up in just a couple of minutes on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dave is next out of Columbia. Dave, what's up?
Hey, man. What? Matt, you feeling better?
I do feel a little bit better, Dave. Drugs help. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Well, I originally called in to talk about Bad Bunny, but I can talk about NES. You know, I lived up in Nashville, I guess, about 23 years ago. Man, back then, I mean, if you had trees next to power lines, they'd come along every year and they'd hurt your feelings.
Yep.
They'd butcher your tree like nobody's business. So I don't know what happened over there, but I was listening to Cameron Sexton there, and I think the state needs to absolutely force them to go to a co-op or you know, just wipe out that board and replace it, because my God. And then, you know, now we're talking about guys beating on a bucket. We're going to focus on guys beating on a bucket, but we got everything going with NES. But hey, Bad Bunny, just real quick on that. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that you know, look, the NFL's got us wrapped around their finger. Everybody's watching everything. Like, why in the world did they pick what they picked when we've got all this immigration stuff? If you don't think there's an agenda there, I think you might be mistaken. I didn't know what a Bad Bunny was. I thought it might be a stripper with a bad attitude. I was disappointed.
Well, Bad Bunny is, it's my understanding, one of the most popular performers across the world.
Imagine my disappointment. I don't even speak Spanish.
Well, I mean, I don't either. So I don't know. I guess maybe this is the way that, you know, other folks feel when they go watch a Taylor Swift show. I don't know. You know, I didn't watch any of it. So, but I haven't paid attention to halftime shows in a long time. So,
but I think there's an agenda there.
What do you think it is, Dave?
Well, I mean, you know, it's kind of funny that, I mean, now I'm an old dude, right? I want to see ZZ Top up there or somebody like that, or George Strait, or, you know, I get it. But they want to appeal to a younger audience. Okay, that's fine. I don't get it because people don't watch anyway. But in the current climate with immigration, going the route they did, I think is a very clear, you know, people call it a middle finger. I don't know if I call it a middle finger. But it's pretty clear that they had an agenda that they were following, and I don't think it was the.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know if it was a border agenda. I mean, and I'm not here to defend the NFL. They don't need me to defend them. They've made such horrific mistakes over the last 6-8 years, and yet still they're the most popular sport in the United States of America. But here's the thing: they're trying to expand their brand to South America, and so I think that's a lot of it. They're trying to gain popularity down there, and they feel like they can gain eyeballs with Bad Bunny. That's a positive spin on it.
We'll get Shakira up there, somebody like that.
Well, they had.
I watch her shake it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm all about it. Once again, there's not. I don't. There is almost. I mean, I'm not saying I put a big. And thank you, John, for the call. I rather Dave for the call. I got to run. I'm not suggesting it's not a big boycott point with me. I don't necessarily understand people anticipating the NFL Super Bowl halftime show. I just don't understand it. It's even if I'm paying attention, I'm not paying attention. I'm talking to people in my house. I'm going to the bathroom or whatever. I didn't watch any of it, though. 32 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
32 minutes past 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full forecast and another traffic report are coming right up. Police say a man harassed and solicited sex from a 15-year-old boy while he was using the men's room at a Nashville mall. It allegedly happened last week at Opry Mills Mall. An affidavit dated February 6th says a 25-year-old man approached the teen and they were standing next to one another at the urinals. And the juvenile victim told police the defendant reached over and touched the young man, which made the victim feel uncomfortable. That's according to the affidavit. Officers found the 25-year-old man in the men's room and did detain him. The man denied all of those allegations. According to court records, he was arrested and charged with solicitation of a minor by displaying sex acts, and his bond was set at $2,500. He's due in court on March 20th. A 19-year-old was charged with a felony after playing a bucket drum in downtown Nashville on Sunday. With details, here's News 2's Peyton Kennedy.
Metro Police say they've been called to the corner of 5th and Broadway at least 8 times so far this year. 4 people playing these bucket drums and obstructing the sidewalk. Officers say they have given multiple warnings, and given that history, 2 individuals were arrested Sunday for obstructing the passageway. While writing the arrest report, police say 19-year-old Betoy Deuce became irate, verbally threatening an officer. Deuce is also now charged with a felony for retaliation for past action. His bond is set at about $8,000.
We now turn to today's closing money news with Michelle Frenzen.
An up and down day ended with stocks closing higher thanks to a continued rebound for tech stocks. The Dow added 20 points. The S&P gained 32. The Nasdaq grew 207 points. Microsoft, Oracle, Nvidia, and AMD all saw gains. Kroger climbed nearly 4% after the grocer named a former Walmart executive as its new chief executive officer. On the losing end was Hims and Hers, which lost 17% after Novo Nordisk filed a lawsuit accusing the company of selling a knockoff version of its weight loss medication. Cuban aviation officials are warning airlines of a fuel shortage for refueling on the island. It comes after the Trump administration cut Cuba off from its fuel sources. General Motors has hired an executive from the electric vehicle startup Lucid Motors to lead corporate strategy. The position will include scouting for partnerships with technology companies.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. In Franklin, we've got a new crash now, 65 southbound right there at exit 59. You know, the bottleneck there right at 840. Also, Brightly Parkway westbound before exit 21 in the Whites Creek part of town. We have a wreck. And also 24 westbound before Whites Creek Pike. We have a crash reported there. 14th Avenue North at Broadway in Midtown, a wreck. And also East Thompson Lane, north of Brierley Parkway, a crash reported. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. GracePoint Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine in a direct pay format. Friends, they are your primary care provider in Franklin, but anywhere within the sound of my voice, they're well worth the drive. Why? Because they do things differently. They do not allow the insurance companies to get between you and your doctor's relationship. That means that all decisions are made between you and your doctor, which is very important. They're a military veteran-owned practice, and I absolutely love it. Patients are treated naturally whenever possible. Love that, too. They try to get to the root cause of the issue and eliminate that root cause as opposed to treating the symptoms. Call 599-6868. When you do, ask them about their Smart Care plan, which you can pay through your HSA. What that means is that for $99 for the grown-ups, $79 a month for the kids, you can have unlimited office visits for you at your convenience, plus free basic labs and diagnostics. That's what it's all about, friends. Exceptional medicine at your convenience. GracePoint Healthcare truly is modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 41 minutes after the hour. I refuse to be dragged back. Well, no, I don't refuse. I'm being dragged back into this conversation about the halftime show. I don't want that. I don't want the conversation in my life, but I'm being dragged back in because now people, you know, if they replaced the announcers with two Spanish-speaking men, would it not be right for us in America to complain about that?
That's a channel.
I mean, yeah, there are Spanish-speaking announcers for the Super Bowl, number one.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's an actual thing. Number two, the suggestion is that we have some sort of right to understand the lyrics that Bad Bunny is singing, and I don't make those decisions. I'm not the person that makes the decision as to who does the halftime show, but I am a consumer that can decide to turn my back on it and to go somewhere else and watch something else, which is what I did. We don't have a right to demand that certain acts are on the halftime show. We can just turn it off or recognize that maybe it's not for us. It's not geared for us. Secondarily, I think it's a little foolish, no offense to those arguing it, I think it's a little foolish arguing that descriptions of the game in a different language is the same thing as somebody singing in a different language. I don't.
Also, part of the halftime show is in English.
Was it?
Yeah, the Lady Gaga portion.
Well, there you go. A little something for the amigos in the good old US of A. Once again, I have a dip. I mean, this just, it feels almost performative now. It's been going on for a while. And oh, by the way, I saw portions of last year's halftime show, and I couldn't understand a damn thing Kendrick Lamar was saying. How about that?
Great halftime show.
And was he speaking English, Jackson?
He was.
Well, I couldn't understand a damn thing he was saying. How about it? So, Jay, speaking of English, I caught portions of the news story, and then I missed. So
Yeah.
These young men, the bucket bangers, have been charged with felonies?
Well, there's one young man, 19-year-old young man. Apparently, they had been warned about blocking the sidewalk downtown. Undemembering, doing the banging on the plastic buckets. And one of them was got a little unruly with a police officer and started fighting with the cop, and the cop arrested him and charged him with a felony.
Okay, well, that changes everything.
Yeah. So, as I said earlier, a little more to the story.
Right.
He got belligerent and got out of control, and he was arrested.
That I don't know what. I maybe open it up to the audience. I've never cared for the bucket bangers. I don't think that it's as hard as some people think it is to take a stick and bang on a bucket and make it sound decent sitting in front of an alleyway. Secondarily, I just feel a little put upon when they're in the middle of the street or the middle of the sidewalk, and then I have to walk around. I'm not trying to be an octogenarian here. I'm not trying to be that old guy that, oh, get off of my lawn. But, I feel like maybe there's something better you can do with your time. The bucket bangers in New Orleans started becoming bucket thievers in New Orleans. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm not up for it. John is next. Hey, John, how are you?
Oh, Captain, my captain, how are you today?
What's happening, brother?
Well, I tell you, I didn't watch because I left the sports bar about 4 minutes before halftime even started. But now I'm seeing replays. Now, was those bamboo stalks, or is that tobacco that they were cutting down?
Sugarcane.
While he's going through this maze, or what was it?
It was supposed to be sugarcane.
So when did sugarcane start growing footballs out of them? Because next thing I know, he's bringing a football around, holding it like a baby, like he just had a newborn baby. But anyway, enough about that. Real quick, I want to get back to the Savannah Guthrie's mother. Now, did we not hear this the first 2 days when they introduced this crime that she's probably got about 24 hours for her next round of medicine? Do y'all remember that?
Yes, vaguely. I will admit to you, John, I'll have to defer to you on some of the details because I've not been following the story that closely.
Yeah, for the first 2 days, you're like, well, we're so worried about she's probably got no more than 24 hours before she needs her medicine and pass out and all that. Buddy, it's going on a week now. It's already surpassed a week. And I'll let y'all debate that.
Well, I think, John, I will say this to you before you go. I think the idea, as far as I can understand it, the idea is if the ransom was as sophisticated as they believe that it is, then the hostage takers, the kidnappers, would have taken her medicine with her so as to keep her alive. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I would assume that that's the suggestion that they did.
Hey, real quick, that's a great theory because they're still trying to figure out why did they stay in the home almost 40 minutes? What were they looking for? Was the mission just to kidnap her? Don't think so, because they're still baffled on why they were in there 30 to 40 minutes. So was it to get all of her medicine? That's 50-50, I'll give it. But anyway, no, that's a good theory. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, John. This has become a very intriguing, and look, I understand that some people are pushing away from it because, oh, well, this person's getting special treatment because this person is a celebrity and her mother is the mother of a celebrity. That's the only reason that people are covering the story. Well, the celebrity nature of the story is inherent in the story, right? Like, the idea is that the Savannah Guthrie's mother would never have been kidnapped but for her celebrity status, because it was the celebrity status that would lead them to get the Bitcoin or the ransom that they claim to want. It's reaching a crescendo today because, I mean, to my understanding, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, there's been no communication since that initial note. The Guthrie family has stepped out and attempted to communicate with people on these kidnappers on several occasions. Savannah Guthrie they did another video over the weekend begging them to communicate with them, saying that, look, we want our mother back. We desperately want our mother, and we will pay. I mean, they just out and they said, we will pay. But what they're begging for is proof of life, right? The suggestion being, we need to make sure that you're not lying to us. We need to make sure that she's still alive and you still have her. But they're not getting any sort of feedback from the kidnappers. The kidnappers sent the initial thing and said, you've got until today, Monday, February 9th, to do something. And if you don't, then, we'll do what we've got to do. So who knows what will happen there. It's very much a plot of a movie. And not necessarily a very believable one. That's just how insane it is. Greg is next up, wants to talk about Nashville Electric. Hey, Greg, good afternoon. Welcome.
Well, yes, good afternoon. I was actually wanting to touch on a topic that Mr. Sexton had mentioned at kind of towards the end. And he talked about all the utilities being needed to be upgraded and things like that. And I'm not arguing that point. And I'm not taking up for any utilities other than, if I remember correctly, there were, and this is 10 or 15 years ago, Metro Water had a substantial rainy day cash cow thing for that specific purpose, and Metro Nashville decided they needed that money more than the utility company, and so they took it and built a convention center. I don't know what they did with it, and then it was about 2 years after that a large diameter water line burst in the middle of Broad Street and took out half the street. Kind of karma there. So, I don't know, again, did something like that happen with Nashville Electric? No, I'm not following Nashville Electric. But sometimes there's other things in the background going on, and people don't really realize what's happening. Again, I'm not taking up for any utility company at all. I know that in my electric service company, when they trim trees, they trim a 40-foot swath, 20 foot on each side of the power line. They come through my property all the time, and that's what they get.
Well, look, I mean, my big thing was, and I said it repeatedly last week, and I won't till this ground too deeply, but, Greg, it's one thing to decide as a company that you're going to keep the trees, right? And many people in many parts of the Nashville Electric Service footprint were happy about that during the good times. I mean, I heard from folks over in Belmead and some other places, some of the ritzier neighborhoods, that they wanted their canopies, they wanted their trees, and they were fine with it. And they were fine with the risk. Well, they're fine with the risk because most of those people have an amount of money where they're able to afford at least a generator, if not a whole home generator, or they're afford to get out and go somewhere else where there's power when the power goes out. The point is that if you do that and if you make those decisions on the front end, that's one thing. But you have to be upfront with your customer base about it, and you have to understand the risks that come with it. And what frustrated so many people is that not only had they worked hard over the last 2 or 3 or 4 years to, quote, protect the canopy, and they weren't spending nearly the amount of money in tree trimming that they had been, they didn't do anything about it when the storm was coming. So
Right.
you would think that someone in the boardroom somewhere would have raised their hand and said, hey, guys, you know how we've been working on beautification and naturalization and letting the trees be as they're going to be over the last several years? Well, hey, I think the chickens are about to come home to roost. Maybe we need to get some more linemen on the job. Maybe we need to get some more linemen up to speed because I think we're going to have a significant event here if we get that ice. You know what I mean?
Oh, and I'm not going to, again, I'm not disagreeing with that, and I'm
Yeah.
sure not taking up for the electric company. But, you know, at the same time, you know, weather predictions are, well, they're weather predictions, and they're just a guesstimate like anything else. I mean, it somewhat educated guess or whatever, but it's still a gamble on what it's really going to do, and you know how much time when you've left that amount of canopy out there. Even if they started the minute they started hearing about something like that, could you have really made a difference?
Well, and my point was not necessarily to make a difference on getting the trees trimmed, but recognizing that because you did not trim the trees, you were going to have far more branches down, you were going to have far more lines down, and you needed to stage the guys to prepare for that. Greg, it's a great point. Thank you for making it. I appreciate you. It's 53 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, let's just say it. Taking your car in for repairs can be complicated. If you own a European vehicle, it might be particularly complicated. Your repair is only as good as the person under the hood. And most of the problems in fixing your vehicle, it's not a matter of somebody trying to rip you off. It's just a knowledge issue. A lot of techs are not properly trained, especially in European vehicles. So they end up guessing on what to do, and that causes delays in getting your vehicle back and repeat visits for the same issue. You do not experience these things at Eurofix. Eurofix does things differently for over a quarter century now. Aaron Stokes and his team. Every visit starts with a 15-minute no-wrench inspection. That means they figure out what's going on with your vehicle before they start turning on it. At Eurofix, they pay their techs more than any other company does to attract the best and the brightest, and they still remain below dealer pricing. Eurofix fixes European vehicles with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, and there's a rental car available with every appointment. Locally owned, family-run, 5 separate locations. Book today at myeurofix.com, myeurofix.com, or 844-EUROFIX.
It is 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A forecast and another traffic report are coming up. The DOJ, they're asking to throw out the criminal case against former Trump confidant Steve Bannon. ABC's Peter Haralambous, he has more.
United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, Jeanine Pirro, argued it was in the interests of justice to dismiss the indictment against Bannon, who was found guilty on contempt charges after a 2022 trial. The veteran political operative and Trump's one-time White House chief strategist served a 4-month prison sentence in 2024 for failing to comply with a subpoena related to the January 6th riots. Bannon had previously said he had no regrets about defying the subpoena.
Now on to the Epstein files. Reaction from House Democrats who visited the Department of Justice today to review some unredacted versions of the files. ABC's Jay O'Brien says what we heard from Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin.
He said he did have some questions as to why certain redactions were made over others. Were they redacting names when they shouldn't be? Where the Department of Justice said these redactions were never to cover for anyone. They were only to redact information that could tie back to the victims and information that could hinder ongoing DOJ investigations. He described having to go into this annex office that is run by the Department of Justice. You can't bring staff in. You can't bring electronics in. You have to take notes by hand.
New data now from a nonpartisan research group takes a look at the impact of President Trump's tariffs on American households. ABC's Karen Travers has this story.
President Trump's tariffs cost the average American household $1,000 last year. That's according to new research from the nonpartisan Tax Foundation. That cost is set to go even higher this year to $1,300 per household, assuming the existing tariffs stay in place. The Tax Foundation also says the federal government collected $264 billion in total tariff revenues last year, far short of the trillions regularly touted by the president and the White House.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, Nashville Electric Services, they claim that they're now taking significant steps to support its customers and address the winter storm response amid outrage from the community. The specially called board meeting earlier today began with NES board chair Ann Davis announcing the utility company will conduct an independent review on winter storm response. They do point out rather emphatically that the review will be independent and investigate everybody from the CEO all the way down to the workers on the ground. Additionally, Davis said it will be shared upon completion as the board works on an aggressive timeline, but no word on when that date is for that timeline. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather. They're next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We still have this stalled vehicle. It's now blocking the left shoulder of 40 eastbound before the Briley Parkway exit. The right shoulder still blocked in Franklin due to an earlier crash, 65 southbound right at I-840, 24 westbound before Whites Creek Pike near Jolton. We have a crash there. And Murfreesboro Pike east of Mount View Road in Antioch, a crash reported. We have your traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, Matt Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm going to get into one particular. I don't know if this aired last night. Did you see the Epstein commercial last night, Jackson? I did not see it.
Didn't catch it.
I was not watching with any particular attention. As a matter of fact, I didn't see. I mean, I saw pieces of the game, but I didn't see a lot of any of the commercials, and I didn't see any of the halftime show. That said, hey, it's the Matt Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've just passed halftime. Technically, Jay Harper's newscast at the top of the hour was our halftime show because we got 2 hours, and then we got Jay Harper's news, and then we got 2 more hours. We got Nincompoops coming up. Does Jay have a Nincopoop yet? Yeah? No?
You know, well, I don't know if I'll be able to participate in that, Matt.
All right.
I just, you know,
That's fine.
I got called in here last minute today.
That's true. That's right. Well, no, that's fine because that ups the opportunity for me to win. I'm fine with that. I'm cool.
Mano y mano.
A little. That's
I mean,
right.
I could be the judge if you like.
I'd like that too because I'd certainly pay Jay off. And I think I
I'm going to take you down, old man.
I think I have a better ability. No, we'll play a little Nincompoops coming up. Well, you're certainly welcome to commentate as the Nincompoop stories are unveiled at 5:38 or thereabouts on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I think I've been inspired by Scott, though. Scott has written in, and he said earlier, let me see, it was 10 minutes after 3 o'clock. He wrote in, and I didn't see this right then because I got so many coming in on the Super Text line hot and heavy. But I noticed it a little bit later afterwards. He said, I've gone the whole day without knowing who won the Super Bowl. So please don't wreck my streak. I don't know who won, and I don't care who won. You can't say anything for the next 3 hours about who won. And he had a smiley face.
I'm going to do it.
Well, no. He's already – no. Just wait for it. So he said, the last Super Bowl I watched was when the New England Patriots played the Atlanta Falcons and came back to win, which I almost immediately told him to score the game, this year's game, because I don't know if Scott knows this or not, but I was an Atlanta Falcons fan. Still kind of am, but I was a Falcons fan, and that is possibly the worst sports moment of my life.
I've got a couple.
There was the Georgia. Well, I got a couple.
4th and 28.
Yeah, the Georgia national championship game against Alabama in 2017 was pretty bad too. And then the
Hail Mary against Tennessee 2016.
Let me tell you, I mean, you and I have never had an NFL Super Bowl winning team, right?
No, never seen it.
Me either. Well, kudos to those that have. Anyway, but I didn't do it. And he went on to say, dang it. Well, he texted a lot of different things about different subjects. But then he said, well, I made it until about 2 minutes ago. This was at 4:53. Made it till about 2 minutes ago before something popped up on my feed as to who won the Super Bowl. LOL. I said, I didn't tell. He goes, I know. I was ready to hit the mute button on my truck radio in case I suspected you were about to say who won. Now, this is inspiring to me.
I was going to do it.
Were you? You're going to tell him?
Yep. Seahawks won.
Oh, you should have said Patriots. You
I would just lie.
You should have just lied. Said the Patriots won.
Titans won. Parade next Tuesday. Be there.
Are you familiar with Whamageddon? Wham came out with a song called Last Christmas. Are you familiar with that song?
Yes.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
I don't need the rendition.
Mm-hmm. There is a game that is played. People play this game online all the time. It's called Whamageddon, where you try to see how long you can go during Christmas without hearing Last Christmas by Wham. Because it is
inundated.
It is empirically, it is one of the worst Christmas songs ever written. It is just awful.
It is not. There's so many other worse ones.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
You ever heard the Hey Santa one?
Well, I don't know which one you're talking about.
I'm going to pull it up.
No, I think the worst Christmas song is Do They Know It's Christmas Time at All? In the world, let them know it's... Anyway, here's my point, Jackson, before we get too far away from it. We should play a version of Whamageddon where... See, you couldn't do this because you can't help but know. You can't help but watch the game. I could not watch the game as long as my team's not affiliated. We should try to see how long we can go after the Super Bowl before we find out who won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I'll find someone to do it with me.
Maybe Ken Weaver will do it with you. Maybe Jay Harper will do it with you.
I don't know. I don't know that I can convince Ken or Jay to do that. They like sports too much. I would have to find a relatively, a non-sports person or non-football person. But I think it would be very difficult to go more than 24 hours. I think it would be difficult to go, in my line of work, it would be difficult to go more than
You ever watch
2
How
hours.
I Met Your Mother?
I know the concept.
But
I watched an episode.
So there was an episode where they tried this.
Oh, did they?
So they had a party planned, but then, they go to the bar every
show or whatever.
Every show. The main meetup spot is the bar, like the
Mhm.
coffee shop and Friends. So they go to the bar, and apparently one of the bartenders, you'd seen him like one time, apparently not in real life, he died. So they had to go to his funeral, which was during the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And so they spent, the whole episode is about them spending the entire Monday after the Super Bowl trying not to spoil who won or the game and the score.
Because they wanted to watch it.
Because they were going to all watch the recording together that night. It's a good episode. It's funny.
And were they able to do it?
No, they all got it spoiled to them at the very end of the episode. It was great though.
I'll make it a go. Y'all remind me that we're doing this next year, and I'll make a go of it. In the meantime, apparently this was, and I don't know that I can play the video no video for you, but I can play the audio, right? Okay. So apparently this was an ad on the Super Bowl. And I've not vetted this completely, but I assume because it was on the Super Bowl that it's going to be okay for air. We've talked a lot about the Epstein files. I have repeatedly asked a question, and I don't mean it to sound mean-spirited or unfeeling or uncaring for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. But I cannot figure out why the victims who claim that they know who these people are don't tell us who these people are. We got the final 3 million document dump. It does not reveal anything. As predicted by me, I told you that there would be no major earth-shattering, smoking gun-type revelations in these files, just more of the general same ickiness and nastiness and grossness that surrounded Jeffrey Epstein and people in his immediate orbit. Jeffrey Epstein also had an exterior orbit of incredibly influential people, some of whom were not compromised by underage people, but were compromised simply by, engaging in inappropriate relationships, against their marriages, et cetera, et cetera. And these individuals were compromised in their own ways, but they were compromised not necessarily doing anything illegal, more so doing some immoral things. Obviously, there was illegal activity going on as well. All of that to say, this ad is very pointed in its messaging regarding Epstein survivors. Let's just listen to the ad. It says, on November 19th, 2025, the Epstein Files Transparency Act was signed into law. And you see the women's faces. 3 million files have not been released. And then you see their mouths are covered.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
Because she deserves the truth.
They're holding pictures of themselves.
Deserve
their younger selves. And says, stand with us. Tell Attorney General Pam Bondi it's time for the truth. Stand with us, worldwithoutexploitation.org. Okay, so the ad, it's a number of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his orbit. And they're holding photos of their younger selves. And I just kind of repeated to you what was going on there. They're like, these people deserve the truth. This girl deserves the truth. We deserve the truth. And they're pointing a finger at Attorney General Pam Bondi. I don't have any love for Attorney General Pam Bondi. I think she is, in my estimation, she is a weak link in the Trump administration. And I'm all about transparency. I'm all about getting to the truth. I don't think anyone will be satisfied with anything that comes out regarding Jeffrey Epstein at this point. However, as I have been saying, and you regulars know this, as I've been saying for months, these women, and they're victims, and I am sensitive to that, they released an ad to send the message that they're going to stand and they're going to be there, and they want the truth. This is as sincere as I can ask this question. Why aren't they naming names? If they are victims and they know the names of people that had pedophilic sexual relationships with underage girls, why are they not naming those names? I ask this question as sincerely as I can ask it. I asked the question months ago. Remember when they held what's her name from over in Georgia, just quit on everybody, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She held a press conference, and she had a number of victims, and I think Thomas Massey was a part of it as well. And the victims came forward and said, we want the truth and we want the information out there, and I'm a victim of all of this. Well, then why aren't you telling us who abused you? Why aren't you naming names? Supposedly, these are some of the most powerful people imaginable around the world. And they took out this organization, worldwithoutexploitation.org, took out a reportedly $10 million Super Bowl ad. And in it, they were claiming that they have been silenced by the Trump administration. Now, I could politicize this and talk about how none of these folks talked about any of this during the Biden administration. That's one thing. Like, we didn't hear about any of this during the Biden administration. And it begs the question, why was that? Because this is so political in its nature. But why aren't you speaking out? Now, before you say something about, they'll get sued, do you understand the amount of money that could be raised instantaneously for these women to protect them in a lawsuit? Instantaneously. And the truth is your best defense. Well, and somebody said Epstein victims signed NDAs. With who? Jeffrey Epstein? He's dead, y'all. He's dead. No. And 4238, here's how this works. All of this lawsuit stuff, y'all, calm down for a second. Just listen to me. If they name names and they're telling the truth, the person that sues them for libel, one, I promise you, instantaneously there will be millions of dollars raised for their defense. So money for their defense will not be a problem. Number two, the people suing them, their attorneys get discovery. So whoever sues them for libel, they're going to have all of their emails opened up. They're going to have their lives opened up, because in the defense of these women, they'll be able to get discovery on the other side of things. So I don't think there'll be a single lawsuit as long as they're telling the truth. if Jackson knows something about me and Jackson tells the truth and I sue Jackson and Jackson has enough money that he's going to defend himself in a lawsuit, Jackson's lawyers get to come at me and say, Murphy, we want your emails and we want any paper trail that you got and we want your cell phone. We're going to copy that. And we want your laptop computer. We're going to copy that. All of those things would happen during a libel lawsuit. And a non-disclosure agreement made with somebody that's dead is an unenforceable non-disclosure agreement. I just sincerely don't get it. I don't. If you are so determined to get this out there, if you're so determined to break the quote-unquote silence that you would spend $10 million on a Super Bowl ad, then why don't you just step up to a podium and say something? And I am sensitive to the fact that these are victimized people, but they are strong enough to put their faces on a Super Bowl ad. Why in the world wouldn't they be strong? I mean, I'm all for the transparency. I just genuinely don't understand why they aren't doing this. And I'm telling you, folks, it's not about fear of a lawsuit. They would be totally covered in the event of a lawsuit. I mean, maybe it's about something. Maybe it's fear of death. I mean, that. But if that's the case, wouldn't they be fearful of doing this Super Bowl ad too? Something feels wrong about this because they claim that they have been silenced and that they demand information, but they will not give us the information that they claim to want that they have. Does that make sense with anybody? I mean, Mario, is that correct? If that's correct, I haven't seen it. Apparently, Mario says Elon said on the X machine that he would cover all the legal expenses that they would incur. So let's go. Let's step forward. I don't get it. 21 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Is your water everything that you want it to be? If it's not, if your water is not up to snuff, ladies and gentlemen, may I suggest to you contacting Better Water LLC. Better Water's been around for a long time now, guys. Better Water, a matter of fact, 55 years? That's right, 55 years of insane and incredible service in the Middle Tennessee area at Better Water, and they can serve you as well. Better Water has all of the applications that you think of when you think of a water system for your home, right? Because they can treat the reverse osmosis is important. Water softeners are important. Specialized filters, including UV lights. You name it, they do it. They're based out of Smyrna. They've been there for 55 years, as I mentioned, and they treat all of Middle Tennessee. And here's the wonderful thing. You can trust Better Water, and here's how I know. They came to my house. I invited them out to the house, and I said, hey, I've got a new home. I want to make sure the water's A-OK, and I want you to tell me what you need to do to make it A-OK. And my man, Robert, tested the water for me with Better Water, and he said, Murphy, I don't say this often. As a matter of fact, this is only the second time I've said it, but your water's fine. You don't have hard water. I don't see any chlorine. I don't see any bacteria. I don't see any iron or sulfur in your water. I think you're A-OK. And we agree that they're going to do a few things for me to get some of the distilled water, that branch water, if you will, for mixing purposes, if you know what I'm saying. But other than that, I'm A-OK. That's the honesty that I want in a company. That's Better Water. But odds are you've got issues with your water because most of us do in Middle Tennessee. 615-355-6063, 355-6063, or betterwater.com. Better Water, LLC.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, unredacted Epstein file documents topping the news in the nation's capital. And a disease that was said to be eliminated over 25 years ago is reportedly resurging. We'll have those stories at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up, I have a thought or two, a rant, if you will. I'll put my rant pants on regarding the SAVE Act. And no, it has nothing to do with the Democrats. I know what the Democrats are going to do with the SAVE Act. The Democrats are sharks. I understand how sharks act. They act like sharks. What I don't understand is why Senator John Thune is waiting on moving some of the rules around to make it more difficult for the Democrats to filibuster the SAVE Act, something that 71% of Democrats want, 95% of Republicans want. It's a basic, fundamental building block of a free, open, representative republic that we can identify the voters that are voting in elections. And Democrats are against this. More coming up on that. Brent has a thought or two about Epstein. Hello, Brent.
Hey, how you doing? Just a real quick one. I'd say it's their lives that they're more concerned about than a lawsuit. Lawsuit's not going to do anything, but their lives, because they're very powerful people, and they have other means, maybe they do, maybe they don't, of eliminating individuals. That's where I think their problem is.
Well, I mean, I got it. I mean, I can understand that, but wouldn't they be putting themselves at danger doing a Super Bowl commercial?
I thought about that, too. I think they're letting them kind of it's a bad word, kind of cat around. If something comes out, then it comes out. But for them to actually point out and say, you did it, you were there, I think that's where they're having a problem.
I mean, no, certainly. I mean, obviously, if these are some of the most powerful people on planet Earth, then clearly they would be putting themselves potentially at risk. I would suggest that at this stage in the proceedings, if they had information that the people around the world, not I almost said the American people, but the people around the world wanted, I also think that they could, relatively speaking, be protected. But, maybe I don't know. Something feels weird about it. None of these women spoke out during the 4 years of the Biden administration in the aftermath of Jeffrey Epstein's death. Nobody said anything about it. Now everyone's saying things about it, and they're demanding that the silence be broken. But the same people that are demanding the silence get broken have information that they're not giving. Like, I was a victim of Epstein and some of his clients. Well, who were those clients? I mean, is it untoward to ask these people who the clients were? If they're demanding that this come out in the open, then why aren't they being more open with it? Brent, you could be right. They could be legitimately fearful for their lives. But you're getting really close to outing these people with a Super Bowl ad, so aren't you endangering yourself if that's the case? Once again, they were underage victims, and I'm very sensitive to that, and I understand that, and people perhaps feel odd in talking about it at all. But if you're out there and you're pointing fingers and you're accusing in a political way, I mean, you pointed the finger at Pam Bondi. You didn't say, you said Pam Bondi. I never heard you say Merrick Garland. Just weird to me. Hey, Mike's on the line in Old Hickory. He can come on the radio show in 6 days. Deborah, you'll be next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, but right now it's time for the news.
31 minutes past 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full weather forecast and other traffic report are coming up. Reaction from House lawmakers who visited the DOJ today to review unredacted versions of the Epstein investigative files. Kentucky Republican Congressman Thomas Massie spoke to reporters.
Some of these files have been taken down, like the DOJ produced them, and for some reason they took them down. Maybe they decided that victims' names were in there and that they needed further redactions. But those documents not only haven't been put back up on the site with the appropriate redactions, they were not available to us to search, as far as I could tell.
And in other news related to the Epstein files, new details about Ghislaine Maxwell's virtual appearance today before the House Oversight Committee. ABC's Jay O'Brien is on Capitol Hill.
They were expecting Maxwell to plead the fifth. Her lawyers had telegraphed that to the committee, but it does add a wrinkle into this overall Epstein saga because Maxwell's lawyers made it clear to the committee, both committee members say and Maxwell's lawyers confirm, that she will not talk unless she's granted clemency from President Trump.
In health news, while measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. over a quarter century ago, a resurgence is on the rise. Health officials blame the record-breaking numbers on people just not getting vaccinated as much as they used to. Here's ABC's Rena Roy.
The CDC says 20 states have reported cases, from California and Oregon to Virginia and Florida, where at least 2 universities have reported cases. One of the hardest hit states, South Carolina, where at least 900 people have been infected since the outbreak started in October. Unvaccinated children make up the vast majority of cases, according to South Carolina state data. More than 80% had not received the MMR vaccine. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather, they're on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We've got the right shoulder blocked now. 40 westbound just after the Charlotte Avenue exit at exit 209. Also, that crash 65 southbound at 840. It's been moved out of the road, but still that bottleneck there and all the rubberneckers, it's still clogging things. 24 westbound, the on-ramp from Old Hickory Boulevard at exit 40. It's partially blocked because we have a wreck there. Shelby Avenue at South 4th Street in East Nashville, a wreck. And still clearing this crash in Antioch, Murfreesboro Pike, just east of Mount View Road. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, you know, the Glock store, I've told you that they are good, loyal neighbors in the middle of Nashville, Tennessee. And as evidence of that, you know, they lost their power for a number of days at the Glock store. Thankfully, retail showroom back open and running. The power's back, so is the Glock store. Retail showroom up and running after the great ice storm of 2026. They've got great deals, too, to include the new Glock GTL2 weapon lights for less than $155. The 43X magazines, they've got those for under $19. The Savior Specialist range bags in the limited edition Desert Night and Tiger Stripe camo, they're in stock and on sale, and there's much, much more. They are geared to sell some of these items, friends. The brand new M1X Coyote frames are also now in stock and ready for immediate pickup. And yes, you may pre-order your Gen 6 Glock. And when you do, you mention my name and you'll get a free extra mag when you pick it up. That's my friends at the Glock store, all powered up and ready to go. The Glock store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. When you walk through the doors, tell them that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Glock store. 46 or 5644 on the super text line. Water test, what a joke. Hey, it's you family. You play, you weigh, watch a cancer. I'm reading this as it was written to me, okay? I'm going to start over. Take two. Doo-doo. Water test, what a joke. Hey, it's you family. You play, you weigh, watch a cancer death, and sidetrack the issue with you own home. Some people, big time stupid, need mirror. I read that as it was written to me. 5644, Better Water is a great company, and you are entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts. I think you misheard me. They went in and they tested my water, and they did not upsell me on anything. As a matter of fact, they told me that my water was A-OK. If you happen to be one of the few in Middle Tennessee where your water's good, they'll tell you that, which is one of the reasons that I would recommend. Well, I'll recommend Better Water LLC to anyone. And one of the reasons is not only can they eliminate some of the crap that's in a lot of our water, they also are honest with you, which is nice. We got that going for us, which is nice. I promised Deborah before Nincompoops, and we'll do it. Deborah, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
I was listening to your show about NES. Okay, I'd just like to point out a couple of things. NES cut $7 million on their budget for cutting trees.
They did.
I heard that directly from Marsha Blackburn. Then they did not maintain the poles. Teresa, the CEO of NES, makes over $350,000. After they cut the budget, they gave themselves a raise. In Atlanta, they knew the storm was coming. They had 10,000 volunteers set up. Kentucky had 5,000. We had 160. She said in the news conference, I couldn't believe it. We were only preparing for snow. Then, I am not saying your particular show, but I normally listen to 99.7. They interviewed in the beginning some union linemen, and they did not, NES did not want to hire them because they did not want to pay union prices. And then in her last interview or press conference, a reporter asked, well, how come now you're bringing in some other people? So she goes, well, we had to make sure that they know how to handle these kind of situations in emergency. I'm sorry, the woman's an accountant. I work in Fortune 500 companies my entire life. This screw up, the CEO, if I was the CEO, I would have typed up my resume and said, goodbye. She needs to be fired. The whole board needs to be fired. And the whole thing has to be reconstruction because our electric bills are through the roof. And this is ridiculous. And we had, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, not with her, the former CEO, and they were out partying and conventions and trips and $1,000 bottles of wine. This all has to look, they have to look into it. And the mayor, Freddie the mayor, is just as responsible as she is because he didn't have a plan either. It was 3 days after this whole thing started that they announced they have shelters and have people to come pick you up. It's a very bad situation. Nobody was like Governor Ron DeSantis. I'm a very proactive person. This was a reactor situation. And I cannot believe that the unions, after she didn't want to hire union workers, are going to defend her.
Yeah, they're claiming that wasn't true, but I don't know what was true behind that. She screwed up so much and so much of the information. It's a great synopsis. It's a great recap that you just offered, Deborah. It goes deeper than that, though. They hired a public relations firm for a 3-year contract, reportedly for $10 million, and they initiated that public relations firm not to better communicate with the public, but to communicate with the politicians on Capitol Hill in the General Assembly to try to prevent a General Assembly takeover of a failure of a board at the NES and a failure of the CEO. I mean, so instead of recognizing that they had a communications issue with their customers, the ratepayers, they decided to initiate a public relations push with politicians. I mean, that's how little they think of the ratepayers. It's just gross.
I know, but not to interrupt you, I do PR and marketing. I would have done it for half that, less than that. But I would have told them, no, you have to communicate to the consumer. You have to communicate directly to the consumer. That's what you have to do. Because when you sell a product, who do you sell it to? The politicians? No, you sell it to the consumer. So the PR firm should have been, for $10 million, should have stood up and said, no, we can't do that. That's bad. That makes their company look really bad. Okay, fine, you're the client. We'll do it your way for $10 million. The consumers needed to know exactly what was going on, and that didn't happen.
Teresa Broyles-Applin was not that. She just was not concerned with her consumers until it became apparent that she was about to lose her cushy. And you're right on the mark. I've heard somewhere in the neighborhood of $325,000 to $350,000. Deborah, thank you for the call. Thank you for the synopsis. Teresa Broyles-Applin has to go. And I love the fact that Cameron Sexton earlier today on the show, Speaker of the House of the General Assembly, said, look, we'll turn it into a co-op if we need to. And that's a really good option for us. 615-737-9986. We'll get more of your calls in here. It's 45 after the hour. Before we do, it's high time for a few nincompoops in the news.
Nincompoops in the news.
Well, all right, time for nincompoops in the news. Jay Harper is in for Ken Weaver today. And Jay is focused on the real news. He will not be presenting an nincompoop, but he's certainly he is certainly able to comment, and we'd love to hear some of those comments regarding nincompoops as presented by the two of us, Jackson Williams and Matt Murphy. Jackson?
Yes.
I'm going first.
No, you're not.
Why not?
I was the winner.
I don't think you were.
I wrapped up, remember Nincompoops on Thursday?
I know, but we had a show. We had Friday's show.
But there was no Nincompoops on Friday.
Right, so it cleans the slate.
Does not clean the slate. We go to the most recent winner. That would be me.
Well,
do you remember my acceptance speech? Do I need to reiterate it?
If you take my nincompoop from me, then I'm not going to have a nincompoop because I don't have a backup.
Well, that's tough. Where'd you get yours from?
It is not from any of our usual sources. What state is your nincompoop in? Is it in a state or in a country?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. All right, we're good.
All right. Police summoned to handle domestic.
By the way, before you say, it's so funny the way we worry about, because y'all, this is harder than you think. Finding nincompoops.
Finding naked people. They're not just doing it on every street corner in America.
Mine's only got one part of their body naked. But anyway, go ahead.
Police summoned to handle domestic sticky bun dispute.
Oh, geez.
Domestic disputes that require police intervention are never a laughing matter, unless, of course, two siblings are threatening to kill each other over who ate the last sticky bun. Officers were told the confrontation is between siblings over who ate the last sticky bun. Now they're threatening to kill each other.
Dear, oh dear.
Sadly, public records requests have been denied by the Williamsport Bureau of Police, so no further information about the confrontation is currently available, such as the age and identity of the sticky bun enthusiast or whether or not arrests were made.
Who isn't a sticky bun enthusiast? Come on.
I don't think I've ever had one.
A sticky bun?
I've had a cinnamon roll. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, all that crap on the top. So good. Oh, sorry. Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I made you lose your place. So now I'm trying to help you regain your place by talking while you find it.
And additionally, specific sticky bun details are lacking. However, if the gooey treats were not homemade, it appears likely they came from Mr. Sticky's, a Williamsport favorite that is a short drive from where the siblings clash.
I can imagine that Mr. Sticky's is
delicious. I bet it's like a family treat. That they get like once or twice a year.
So good.
And somebody ate that last sticky bun, and it was on.
It was
throwdown time.
It was on.
What if the dog ate it?
Well, then the dog's probably sitting pretty over there if the dog ate it. All right, are you done? Is that yours?
I'm done.
All right, from Jackson's sticky buns story to Matt's stinky buns story. Police have caught a serial defecator terrorizing a Wisconsin city in the act with the use of drone technology. You see what I did there? Sticky buns to stinky buns? That's pretty good. Police in Wisconsin caught a serial defecator in the act as they were pooping in a city park. Much like the porch pooper who was on the loose in Kentucky back in the summer of 2024, the city of Stoughton, S-T-O-U-G-H-T-O-N, I'm going to go Stoughton, Wisconsin, had been terrorized recently by a serial defecator. Residents reported finding human feces and used toilet paper in a city park, according to a local ABC affiliate, WISN Channel 12. The Stoughton Police Department decided to use modern technology to catch their suspect. With the use of trail cameras and a drone, they caught the person responsible pooping in the act. The 46-year-old is a resident of Stoughton and was spotted by drone in the early morning hours last Thursday. This story is from yesterday. In what might be the most shocking part of this entire fecal matter, the person caught taking a dump in the city park by a drone was a woman.
Whoa.
The use of TP might have been a clue. The SPD...
No, if you're taking a dump in public, you got it.
What?
Anybody. That's not gender specific.
Well, I mean, this is what the story says, but see, I know a lot of those the jogging poopers. That's a lot of them are joggers. The serial poopers that are caught in these various towns, they're joggers, and a lot of times they're women or men, but they're jogging and they got to poop, and they just pull over and poop. They take care of their business. A lot of times they don't even wipe.
When nature calls.
When nature calls. For those concerned that the suspect was or is homeless, she is not, according to police. It's the act of a woman who's choosing to connect with nature in the early morning hours by defecating in a park. I personally think there are better ways to connect with nature. But in all transparency and fairness to her, according to SPD, they haven't taken any, it could be onto something, yada, yada, yada. So, yes, the serial pooper in Stoughton, Wisconsin, has been caught thanks to drone technology. The woman was not named in the story, but she has been booked and released on her own recognizances. That's how we play.
Now, Matt, I saw that story earlier today, and I did consider perhaps introducing that to today's Nincompoop segment. However, I elected not to, and it's a good thing I didn't. I didn't want to steal your thunder, perhaps.
No, it would have been much better if Jay did it.
You think? Yeah. You know what? Today is also National Poop Day.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. In addition to being National Pizza Day after the day after the Super Bowl.
Well, those are counterintuitive because, all the cheese.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Or after the pizza comes the pooping.
Correct.
Well, the cheesel.
Yeah, the Pooper Bowl in your case.
Oh, the old Pooper Bowl. Well,
Yeah.
I like it. All right, that's how we play Nincompoops in the News. I would encourage you to vote for Matt Murphy. Thank you. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Back in a moment. Mm-hmm. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know, the Wellness Institute of Nashville provides our weekly Nincompoops trophy around here, and we appreciate Dr. Mitch and the rest of the team. They also provide back relief, and yes, of course, with my back issues, I'm scheduling a time to go visit with Dr. Mitch, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They can make me right again. They can help you, too. They can't help it if you wrench your back in the manner that I did, but they can help alleviate the pain through spinal decompression. It's something that I've gone through over the years. When I have the back pain, I go in, I get decompressed, and it really does work, friends. I am a customer as well as a spokesperson for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And now they have the HydroWave technology, something that I'll be talking to Dr. Mitchell about, which is incredible. It's a way to stimulate your very own stem cells in your body to regenerate tissues that grow new blood and ultimately accelerate healing in the process. So it's back, neck, knee, hip, sciatica, wherever it hurts. they can assist you in your healing without having to pop pills, without having to consider needles, and certainly without consideration for surgery. Go to painisbad.com, painisbad.com, or give them a call today at 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Coming up at the top of the hour, congressional reactions are beginning to surface on some of those unredacted Epstein file documents. Also, an alleged assault of a utility worker results in an arrest. We'll have that coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of votes for Matt Murphy. Thank you. Thank you. 4791 says, I vote for Ken Weaver because not being there with a story is better than the sticky crap stories that you two came up with.
You know,
that's not very nice.
I was telling you this.
That wasn't very nice.
It's tough to do nincompoops without Ken.
I agree.
Because that laugh in the background.
Ken's the straw that stirs that nincompoop's drink. I'd agree with you. I mean, I tried to help your story out. You gave me nothing for my story. Thanks a lot.
Well, I don't want you to win.
You knew I was a winner.
And there was a phone call.
A lot of stinky buns votes. Stinky buns as opposed to sticky buns. Thank you so much. Let me get to Robert real quick. Hey, Robert, what's going on?
Hey, Mr. Murphy, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. You all right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Hey, I had a little bit of thoughts on the water test issues because I went through the same process of having water tests at different locations, and they come in, they set up their little test tubes on your countertop and all, and they say, well, your water's good here. You don't have to use as much detergent as everybody else, and this is clear and this is good. Maybe you have a little high lime content or whatever. Well, okay. That's just natural water that runs through the rivers and streams under the ground and which your well is hooked into.
Mm-hmm.
But I also asked the water guy, I said, hey, what about chemicals and toxins from spray things and so forth? I mean,
Robert.
is that in my water? Toxins and spray chemicals and poisons?
Robert,
is that in my water?
I want the answer to this. But Jackson has played the music, which means I have to go to a break. Top of the hour's here. So I'm going to put you back on hold. And hang in there. We're going to get the answer to this. I'm excited about this question. Back in a moment.
Good evening. It's 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A weather forecast and a traffic report are coming up. Members of Congress who've been given access to the unredacted version of the Epstein files are starting to tell the public what they witnessed. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the very latest.
The two House members who wrote the law forcing the release of the Epstein files say they've now seen in the raw documents the names of 6 men who they say are implicated.
One is pretty high up in a foreign government.
And Republican Thomas Massie of Kentucky says at least one of them is an American. With Massie was his Democratic colleague, Ro Khanna of California.
One of the others is a pretty prominent individual.
But when asked to name names, both men demurred, saying they'd rather first give the Justice Department time to correct its mistake and release the unredacted documents.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, a lineman was arrested after allegedly assaulting and seriously injuring a co-worker when they were restoring power in Madison. This according to newly obtained arrest reports. The assault allegedly happened back on January 30th after that winter storm, but it did not get reported to police until this past Friday. The victim, also a lineman, told police he was working with 36-year-old Harley DeLine outside a home when an argument ensued. The victim told police that DeLine, he was trying to turn on a transformer and it wasn't ready to turn it on yet. He claimed it wasn't safe to do so. Police noted the victim had very visible injuries. That's, again, according to the arrest report. A doctor told him he had a torn pectoral muscle and a torn shoulder muscle, and he would need surgery. The injured lineman told police he thought the ambush was premeditated. DeLine, he's been charged with aggravated assault. His bond was set at $10,000. And new data now from a nonpartisan research group takes a look at the impact of the president's tariffs on our pocketbooks. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
President Trump's tariffs cost the average American household $1,000 last year. That's according to new research from the nonpartisan Tax Foundation. That cost is set to go even higher this year to $1,300 per household, assuming the existing tariffs stay in place. The Tax Foundation also says the federal government collected $264 billion in total tariff revenues last year, far short of the trillions regularly touted by the president and the White House. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We've got a handful of problems all up and down I-24. 24 westbound, the on-ramp from Old Hickory Boulevard north at exit 40. It's partially blocked due to a wreck in the Joelton area. 24 westbound at exit 35, a crash. And now we move over to Murfreesboro. 24 eastbound at Joe Jackson Parkway, where they're building that new Buc-ee's there. That's exit 84. We have a crash reported there as well. We've got your traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I don't know what to say about this Savannah Guthrie story, Nancy Guthrie story, except to say that this deadline is apparently passed. This is a deadline that was set by the reported kidnappers. We don't really know if they're kidnappers or not. They could be individuals taking advantage of a situation. Several of you have mentioned that that's what you believe is going on. I think it was John in Lawrenceburg. I could have that wrong, but I think John in Lawrenceburg said as much, that I believe that the 84-year-old woman perhaps tragically passed away. Someone was aware of it, aware that she went missing or whatnot, and is attempting to take advantage of the situation. One way or the other, there was a ransom deadline. And this is the oddest part. The ransom, the kidnappers, those that have sent the ransom demands, they communicated once. They sent the demands in. They sent them to a number of multiple outlets. The Guthrie family has repeatedly tried to get reconnected or recontact with the kidnappers, and nothing. You either, I guess, send it or you don't. And the deadline was 7 o'clock Eastern time this Monday, February 9th. So we'll keep you up to date on that story. No deposit was made in the Bitcoin account mentioned in the ransom note, according to TMZ, because the Guthrie family was obviously advised that you should not pay any of the ransom amount unless you have a proof of life, meaning you know that these are the individuals that actually took your mama. That said, they don't know, and they haven't done so, and who knows what happens from here. But it is certainly a real crime, true crime drama playing out before our very eyes. Robert was making a point about the water and whether or not we had toxins in our water. Robert, I'm sorry I had to interrupt your conversation there, but we had to go to the top of the hour news. But let's continue.
Okay, thank you. The 84-year-old woman who was disappeared, actually might have went to Mexico for cancer treatment that would actually cure her cancer that we don't have the treatments for here in America. Just a thought. But anyway, back to the water issue. I've had the water test done on different properties of mine, and they do the normal stuff that you can get the kit from Amazon to do yourself. And they tell you might have a little high lime, a little high iron, or whatever, depending on your well or whatever. But the most important thing that I was concerned with in my water test was, do I have chemical toxins or chemical poisons in my water? And when I got down to finding out if I did or I didn't, the guy told me, he said, well, we don't do that test. We don't know if you do or if you don't. So, we got normal water, underground streams and rivers and so forth, and they already have certain limes and things in them that's just normal underground water streams, maybe high in lime or whatever, but or iron, depending on the well casing and so forth. But when it comes to, do you actually have poisons and chemicals and toxins from the sprays that are used? I'm in a county right here that's the nursery capital of the world, and every kind of chemical you can imagine is being used in this county, and we have hundreds in time dying in these nursery fields, spraying all these chemicals for all these different kind of trees and bushes. So I was really concerned about the chemicals in your water that could actually cause cancer, because we've had more cancer deaths in Warren County than any county in Tennessee. And you can check out the stats on that. Don't believe me. Whatever you do, don't believe me. Check it all out. But I'm just saying, the water test is just a simple, plain, cheap water test. I see these signs everywhere saying free water test, free water test. Well, I jumped on that 2 or 3 times, and I found out, well, you really get what you pay for when it's free. But they do want to sell you a lot of filters and stuff, you know.
Well, my experience was with Better Water was very different, and I think their test is a more comprehensive test. I don't know the specifics of the test, but I trust those guys implicitly because they've been doing it for 55 years. There's a locally owned company, and they believe in trying to get your water the right way. Speaking of water, any of you listeners down in Manchester? Because I'm getting Philip has written in, if you listen down in Manchester or Tullahoma, what is going on with the Duck River utility? Philip has written in and says, this is a message from the water company here in Manchester. It just came through. And this was at 6:03, so about 9 minutes ago. And I have a follow-up, by the way. The message was as follows. Manchester, Tennessee alert. Duck River Utility has encountered unexpected issues repairing a leak and cannot currently supply water to Manchester or Tullahoma. We're using stored water from city tanks, so please conserve and use water only when necessary. DRUC, that's Duck River Utility Company, hopes to resolve the issue within a couple of hours. So that was coming in today, and then Philip writes, this is the last message they just sent. Manchester, Tennessee alert. Duck River Utility cannot supply water to Manchester or Tullahoma due to repair issues. Please conserve water. Reply stop to opt out. No idea what's going on there. Just relaying the information as presented to us by Philip on the phone or on the super text line. Philip claiming that that there are those in Manchester that are being, the Duck River Utility is demanding that they conserve as much water as possible. Am I to take Boyd on line 1? Is that okay? Yeah? Hello, Boyd. How are you?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm great, Boyd. Hope you are.
You know what? I talked to you before, and you had a caller call in one time, and she said you give this person more airtime than this person that was kidnapped, but she was kidnapped by her daddy. You know, I don't think a daddy would actually hurt his own little girl, but you told her, you kissed my ass, and you won me over there.
Well.
And I called you up, and we had a very pleasant conversation, and oh, by the way, your last caller, you know what? I don't like them putting friggin' stuff in our water that turns our frogs gay.
They turn the frogs gay. Love it. Love it. Well, according to good old,
I wanted to say, brother.
Thank you, Boyd. I appreciate you.
Believe me, I was really depressed when I called you last time, and you lifted my spirits quite a bit, and I was able to carry on, you know. And you just don't know how much you influence people's lives.
Oh,
you really don't.
Well, thank you, Boyd, and you just keep hanging in there, brother.
Oh yeah, man. I don't have no choice. At least I ain't got no gay frogs around here.
Turn the frog gay.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Me either, Alex. There you go, Boyd. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your call, and those words are kind, my man. It's a family affair on the Matt Murphy Radio Show. I consider all of you family. It's like a big family reunion. You like some of the folks at the family reunion more than you like others. Hell, some of the folks at the family reunion you probably don't care for, but they're still family, and you still invite them. That's the way I feel about this show. So, I love and appreciate each and every one of you. 6195 says, I'm on a well in Manchester. Let people know I have amazing water at $10 a gallon. I'm kidding, of course. 2042 says, a large valve in the main supply pipe burst during the cold snap, and it's not completely failed, but it's leaking badly. Repairs are being attempted, but apparently they have run into issues during the repairs. 1307 says, Matt, you don't know how you influence. Look, we have a gathering together on a daily basis, and I absolutely love what we do. We try to be as honest as we possibly can to the audience. We try to treat the audience with the respect that they obviously deserve, and I absolutely love each and every one of you guys. 7951 says, Joan Jones called in earlier about the water shortage. My apologies. You might want to give her a call. They were losing 1 million gallons a day. What? That's a lot of water. Philip has said, Saturday follow-up, water use is 1 million plus gallons a day above normal since the cold snap. Residents in Manchester, Tullahoma, Wartrace, Bell Buckle, Hillsborough, Pelham, surrounding areas must reduce water use immediately to avoid system failure and emergency restrictions. And that was a couple of days ago. That was Saturday. And then now today, they said Duck River Utility cannot supply water to Manchester or Tullahoma due to repair issues. Please conserve water. So the story that we're piecing together, thank you to you field reporters out there because y'all are doing the piecing, is that due to the cold snap, a valve broke. They tried to repair it. The repairs didn't go well. Something went wrong, and they're now leaking 1 million gallons a day. 1 million gallons a day. And our own Joan Jones has been impacted by this. My apologies for not hearing her report this morning. I try to listen as much as I possibly can, but I don't pretend to listen to everything. Missy is next up with perhaps another thought on the water issue. Hello, Missy.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for calling.
I'm not actually calling about the Manchester water. I was actually going to trade the Gay Frog water for the water that I grew up drinking, which was poisoned by DuPont.
Holy.
West Virginia.
What?
I am one of the, I don't know how many of us that were poisoned by DuPont C8 up in West Virginia for the last 40-some years. Good. There was actually a movie about it starring Mark Ruffalo. I can't remember the name. Dark Water, I think. Came out about a few years ago. Talking about the C8 poisoning that got a lot of West Virginians, caused a lot of cancer, birth defects, killed a lot of people.
I mean, did y'all did y'all go to court with them and get a?
They did. They had a large civil action, class action suit.
Good.
Most of us have one or two of the side effects of it. We've all just learned. I've lived down here in Tennessee for over 10 years now, but that's something that you worry. You pass that on to your kids, that there's some of the chemicals that are in there that I'll never get rid of. So I'll take Gay Frog.
I bet you would. Are you okay?
Yeah. I've got a lot. Yeah, I've got thyroid issues from it and some other issues, but healthy, yeah. Glad to be out of it. They had to, where my parents lived downriver from it, they had to redig the wells, and they set up water stations where they basically gave every resident, bottled water, jugs of water. The only thing you could do with that water up there was bathe in it. You could not, wash your dishes, brush your teeth, drink it, anything. They advised against that. So they had to go way inland from the Ohio River and put in new wells. It was a massive project.
That is, that's awful. And that, I don't know a lot about it. I want to do some research on it, just inspired by your story, Missy, because that's horrible.
It is. Well, watch Dark Waters, the Mark Ruffalo movie. Not a big fan of Mark Ruffalo, libtard. But he did a good job. They didn't portray West Virginians as idiots, which was a nice change. And but they did a good job explaining how it started. DuPont was out there dumping barrels of water into the river thinking they could get away with it, and they did until one particular farmer noticed that his cattle was dying with strange growth. And
Wow.
It's a crazy story, and there are millions of West Virginians still dealing with the C8. So it's a horrible thing, but
Well, best of luck, and I'll send you some gay frog water, okay?
perfect. I would
Yeah.
love that. Next time I see you at the glove store.
Yeah, well, 100%. Well, or you can see me at, premature caller ejection. My
I don't
apologies.
like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Thank you, Alex. So, yeah, that was a premature caller ejection. I'm sorry, Missy, for that. I got a little trigger happy on the finger there. You can see us at the Stake of the Union. Huh? I mean, the Stake of the Union is right around the corner. We've got the T-Line event coming up this Thursday. I mentioned that earlier in the show. That is going to be a lot of fun. The Sweep, Sip, and Snack Curling Challenge this Thursday, February the 12th. We're going to have our team. You can grab your team, test your skills on the ice. If you are a seasoned curler, God love you. I don't understand you. If you're a first-time sweeper, I understand you quite well. If you're wanting to try the sport, you can purchase a ticket for discounted ice time. You'll get 30 minutes of ice time, a curling session, and an appetizer for only $25. That's a pretty cool deal. And it promises to be a fun event. I'll be out there. The whole crew will be out there. I think Chad's doing his show from noon until 3. We're doing our show from 3 until 7. Jackson will be there.
I'll be there.
Will Ken Weaver be there?
Ken Weaver will be there.
We'll all be there, y'all, and you need to be there too. Now, the Stake of the Union, I'm not so sure that Jackson gets to go to the Stake of the Union, but
You
if
told
you do,
me earlier I get to go.
I did tell you that. I do think you get to go. I wanted to tease you to make fun and pretend that you don't get a delicious 9-ounce Legends sirloin, which is so good. 2 sides, a salad bar, strawberry cake. You know what my favorite kind of cake is, Jackson?
Mine's strawberry.
Mine is strawberry cake as well. I love a strawberry cake.
You know, that explains this relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we disagree on most everything, but strawberry cake, that's something that can bond a man.
I think we could unite America on the platform of strawberry cake.
You get a non-alcoholic beverage of your choosing. It includes tax and gratuity. There are 100 tickets available at $100 a piece. And now every ticket, once again, 9-ounce sirloin, 2 sides, strawberry cake, salad bar, a beverage of your choosing, and tax and gratuity. Get yours before they are gone at 997WTN.com. That's 997WTN.com. It's worth the value. It's worth the money. Friends, you'll also get to watch the Stake of the Union at the Stake of the Union, February the 24th at Legends in Smyrna. Be there. Go to 997WTN.com for more details. Back after this. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for USS, which stands for United Structural Systems. Friends, United Structural Systems is coming to the Murphy compound tomorrow. We're going to make sure that everything's A-OK when it comes to the foundation and structure of my home. Very excited about that. I wanted to call the best, so I called USS, United Structural Systems. Bottom line is this, folks. If the foundation is janky, that's a technical term. If the foundation is not up to snuff, then everything about your home is compromised, right? And you can't have it. You can't have it. And what comes to mind when you think of your home is the basic foundation, the fact that it's where you raise the family. It's where all of the special memories are made. And you want to make sure that everything is A-OK, especially with all of the water that's going down, ice and all of that. I mean, the water's going somewhere. And if you do not protect your foundation, it will get there. January is a very wet month. February is a very wet month. Wintertime, generally speaking, is wet. United Structural Systems, they're more than just a team of problem solvers. There's your neighbors, and they want to help. Call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or USSTN.com. Homeowners simply trust USS.
Yes, he is, and so am I. And an arrest of a man for allegedly soliciting a teen at a Nashville shopping mall. We'll have that story along with today's closing money news. That's all coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jay Harper. Also coming up, a rant on the SAVE Act, the inactivity by the Republicans. Y'all better get your butts in gear. For some reason, John Thune is not acting on this in the United States Senate, and I cannot imagine why. We need to do what we need to do to get it on the floor and get it voted on. The SAVE Act is that important. In the meantime, young Jackson, are you familiar with the Centralia fire or Centralia fire? I think I'm pronouncing the city correctly. Centralia used to be a city in Pennsylvania. And it was a city. It was a town of about a little less than 2,000 people. So, teeny-tiny town. But there were a lot of strip mines. And in the 1960s, a coal seam fire was started. And it has been burning ever since. And you heard me correctly. If y'all have never heard this story, go look it up on the interweb. And I was blown away by this tale. The background of it is just as fascinating as what is happening. I mean, until this moment, to this day. And they believe that the Centralia fire will burn for another 250 years, or about 250 years in total.
What'd they do?
So in Centralia, they had to close their city dump. And they didn't have another city dump. I think I have the details right. And they had illegal dump sites. And so they were trying to figure out what to do to stop the people from dumping illegally. People go to the end of a dirt road and dump, right? So they used an old strip mine to create a new dump. And there were already rules about not doing that, but they did it anyway. And the use of the old strip mine as a dump created a surface fire that eventually got underneath the surface. So this fire that's been burning, Jackson, since 1962 is burning, for the most part, underneath. I mean, it's burning underneath the earth in the old abandoned mines. And it's expected that it will burn. The city they had to move everybody out of the city. The city, there's as of 2017, there were 5 people that still live there that were grandfathered in.
Can you go visit?
You cannot. So it became a point of destination for looky-loos and people that wanted to see the deal because they rerouted traffic around Centralia. They closed the roads down. Well, then people found out about that, and they used ATVs and whatnot to try to get into Centralia to see the old abandoned town. And they don't allow that. They created burns to stop people with ATVs and whatnot from getting in.
What are burns?
They're like just big mounds of earth.
So you have some friends in Congress.
I do.
Think they could arrange a
little looky, little flyover, little peeky peek. Maybe. I don't know. I'll call Senator John Fetterman and see what he can do for us. He's a senator up there in Pennsylvania. He's a good friend of mine.
Be down.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a fascinating story. Since 1962, this thing's been burning, and they expect that it will burn for another 200 years. 32 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 32 minutes past 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A forecast and another traffic report are on the way. Police here in Nashville say a man harassed and solicited sex from a 15-year-old boy while he was trying to use the men's room at a Nashville mall. It apparently happened last week at Opry Mills. An affidavit was dated this past Friday, says that a 25-year-old man approached the teen, and as they were standing next to one another at a urinal there, the juvenile victim told police the defendant reached over and touched him, which made him understandably rather uncomfortable. The affidavit goes on to say that officers found the 25-year-old man in the men's room and did detain him. He denied doing anything. According to court records, though, he was arrested and charged with solicitation of a minor by displaying sex acts, and his bond was set at $2,500. He'll be back in court come March 20th. Now let's turn to today's closing money news with Michelle Frenzen.
An up and down day ended with stocks closing higher thanks to a continued rebound for tech stocks. The Dow added 20 points. The S&P gained 32. The Nasdaq grew 207 points. Microsoft, Oracle, Nvidia, and AMD all saw gains. Kroger climbed nearly 4% after the grocer named a former Walmart executive as its new chief executive officer. On the losing end was Hims and Hers, which lost 17% after Novo Nordisk filed a lawsuit accusing the company of selling a knockoff version of its weight loss medication. Cuban aviation officials are warning airlines of a fuel shortage for refueling on the island. It comes after the Trump administration cut Cuba off from its fuel sources. General Motors has hired an executive from the electric vehicle startup Lucid Motors to lead corporate strategy. The position will include scouting for partnerships with technology companies.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather, they're next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. On the East Bank, I-24 eastbound, just past Shelby Avenue, we have a crash there. I-24 has been kind of a problem today, all up and down the interstate out in Murfreesboro. Still got that wreck, 24 eastbound at Joe Jackson Parkway. 65 northbound, a new crash down just past Armory Drive. Also another one on 65 northbound, not far from there. Next exit up at I-440, a crash reported there as well. And on the South Loop now, 40 westbound at 2nd Avenue, the right lane is blocked there due to a crash. And just popping up, 24 eastbound at Bell Road, a crash just happening. The left lane is blocked there. Oh, boy. We'll have your traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What are y'all going to do if the heat goes out? Or, heck, I should say the AC today, right? I mean, it got warm enough. I turned the AC on in the old truck. Well, I mean, you probably can't expect these warm conditions for very long, and the heater will be back on before you know it. And if yours is not running as efficiently as it should, well, there's Efficient Heating and Cooling. Call Jeff Eddy and allow his team to get out to you and head off costly repairs, breakdowns, or even worse, expensive early replacement. The last thing you want is to have to replace a unit 2, 3, 4 years early, because that costs you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in the process. Now, at some point, you have to replace. At some point, it's time. And they'll tell you. You can trust them that they'll be honest and straightforward with you. Jeff Eddy keeps overhead low. He doesn't charge overtime, nights, weekends, just doesn't believe in it. They're an elite pro partner with Rheem, so they can help you find the unit that's right for you when the time comes. Go to efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or call 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for our friends, Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being with us. Thanks to Cameron Sexton, the Speaker of the House. He was on with us earlier today, floated the idea, and I'd not heard this before, floated the idea of turning this municipality-owned Nashville Electric Service into a co-op that would then be owned by the ratepayers. I was not aware that Middle Tennessee Electric is a co-op, but I got to tell you, I had fabulous results. Had a fabulous experience with Middle Tennessee Electric during my time in Mount Juliet. I've heard nothing but good things about them, and their response time to the storms was incredible. I mean, the juxtaposition between their response and others. Obviously, many of these responses were to scale because many of these utilities, like, the Cumberland or Columbia, Mount Pleasant, they serve fewer customers. Middle Tennessee Electric does not serve significantly less customers, however, than Nashville Electric. I mean, it's less, but not significantly less. It's still a major electrical company in our region of the world, and one that did not experience the disaster that was Nashville Electric. Speaking of, U.S. Representative Matt Van Epps, the newest Tennessee U.S. Representative, has sent a formal letter to Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell and Nashville Electric Service CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin, calling for accountability and transparency following the utility's response. In his letter, Van Epps pressed Metro leadership to demand answers from NES and ensure reforms are implemented. He began by praising frontline workers and community response during the storm. Despite those efforts, Van Epps said he heard widespread concerns from residents and businesses about the utility handling of the crisis. So Van Epps has joined a chorus of voices that is demanding some sort of change. We were originally going to have Matt Van Epps on Wednesday. I don't think that's going to happen now, but I do believe that he will be on with Dan Mandis in Nashville's Morning News on Thursday morning. I think that's the case. So we had initially scheduled him for Wednesday. I think we had a bit of a scheduling conflict on our end and his end, and he will be on with Dan Mandis Thursday morning, it's my understanding. So I'm certain that he will talk more about this and potentially more about the possibility of the SAVE Act. If you don't know, historically, the president's political party loses seats in the midterms. That's just the way that it is. People desire change. They want change for change's sake. People who don't believe that the direction of the country is going in the manner that it should go to the polls. The only exceptions. So in midterm congressional elections, y'all with me so far? So whoever the president is, their political party loses seats during the midterms. Does not matter to the president. Does not matter the political affiliation, Democrats or Republicans. The president's party loses seats in the House. The only exceptions, 1902, 1934, 1998, and 2002. Okay? So this obviously means a lot for the razor-thin Republican House majority. It will be in significant peril come November. We got to win the midterms. And I believe that the political left is willing to cheat to win as many seats as possible. They've demonstrated their willingness to do this over and over and over again. So as many have noted, and we've talked about it in the past too, considering the insecure and the chaotic manner in which federal elections are conducted in blue states, and obviously congressional elections are of a federal nature, Senate elections of a federal nature, the SAVE Act is a must-pass piece of legislation. However, for some reason, John Thune and other leadership within the United States Senate, run by Republicans, they haven't moved on this. So the House of Representatives they've passed the SAVE Act twice. And all the SAVE Act would do is require states to obtain proof of citizenship that complies with the Real ID Act of 2005 before registering a person to vote in a federal election. That's it. So the House passed the bill during the 118th Congress, but the Democrats who controlled the Senate at that time left it for dead. The House GOP passed it again during the current Congress, that's the 119th, expecting that the Republicans who now hold a majority in the Senate to take it up, but they haven't taken it up. Why not? The excuse that we're given by leadership is weak. Because they say that they don't want to mess with the legislative filibuster. Now, I understand the nature of the filibuster. All I'm asking them to do is to force actual debate on the floor of the United States Senate if the Democrats are going to filibuster the bill. Right now, as the rules are, the Democrats don't even have to stand there and filibuster. They just have to claim that they're going to, and the Republicans are, okay, well, very well, we will not bring up the bill for the floor. The filibuster was designed to act as a cooling off measure. The filibuster was used for years to thwart civil rights legislation and other pieces of legislation that were the right things to do that did not enjoy enough of a majority in order to overcome said filibuster. The filibuster is now being abused in ways that I don't believe our founding fathers could have possibly imagined. We need to go back to the 1975 rule or eliminate it altogether. And look, I've been loath to suggest that we should eliminate it altogether because I understand the consequences of doing that and the other party gets into political power. But it is way time that we went back to the 1975 rule. The 1975 rule would force that that in order to break a filibuster, you need 3/5 of members present as opposed to members elected. That means you have to stay in Washington, D.C. if you're going to filibuster. And you actually have to filibuster if you want to filibuster. It's not that hard. You don't have to eliminate the whole thing. Doing what I just mentioned would get you over the finish line when it comes to the SAVE Act. Steven's on the road, wants to talk about the SAVE Act. Hey, Steven.
Hey, Matt. Hey, I had I was in the graces of a liberal a couple days ago, and she brought this thing up. You know, we were back and forth on a few issues with Trump and the Epstein stuff and this and that, but and she brought up the SAVE Act, and I asked her, I says, well, what's so bad about it, and what's wrong with it? And the first thing she said was, well, if I got a divorce and got remarried and my last name changed, then I wouldn't be able to vote. Now, I didn't go 2 feet deep into that. I just kind of nodded and just said, oh, okay, I understand. So I don't know if there's any other reasons why we wouldn't be doing that, but I think it's one of the most important things that we're facing today, because, you know, if we don't fix it as much as we can and all the way, then, you know, we're done. It's just going to be the next 1 or 2 or 3 election cycles that rolls around, because we're on the edge of it right now, man, of just falling into socialism and communism just by losing votes that are getting cheated, or, you know. Well,
and if we lose if we lose it, it's completely on us. I don't. Chris Hand and I were talking about this last week, and I don't understand what John Thune is waiting on.
Yeah, this don't make sense.
No, I mean, unless John Thune really isn't. I mean, unless he hates Trump that much. I mean, he's a known never Trumper. He has softened his forward position on that issue, obviously, in order to win the leadership role. He had to do so. But I don't know that privately he has softened it enough for my liking. But this guy, I mean, I don't understand what he's waiting on. And Stephen, thank you for the call. Understand something. Right now, in order to initiate a filibuster, you have to have 60 votes to overcome a filibuster, but those 60 votes are of members elected. So they don't have to actually filibuster now under the current rules. They can just threaten, well, we're going to filibuster, and it will never be brought to the floor, and they don't make them filibuster. If you go back to the 1975 rules, it would be 3/5 of members present could vote to break a filibuster. So if some of these Democrats, these do-nothing Democrats, want to go home, the Republicans can break a filibuster with significantly less than 60 votes. It only takes a few, and they could break it. In the meantime, all of this Democrat clamoring about, oh, the Republicans want to nationalize. No, they don't. We just want to nationalize being able to determine that you are a legal voter in these states that do not require that you have proper documentation. The Democrats tried to do this crap in 2021. Y'all know that, right? They tried to literally nationalize elections in 2021. And the media won't call them out on their hypocrisy. Now they're saying, oh, my God, he wants to nationalize like it's the worst thing ever. They tried to do the same thing in 2021. And they were going to break the filibuster to get it done. But Joe Manchin, Democrat, and Kristen Sinema, Democrat, wouldn't go along with them. Senate Republicans have an opportunity to pass legislation that will bolster and solidify election integrity and prevent the majority of non-citizens from voting for the rest of our lives. And oh, by the way, I am loath to change the rules and eliminate the filibuster entirely. But if we have to go that far, we need to go that far because the Republic depends on it. And if you don't believe that the Democrats have gone insane enough, if they have political power, that they would do the same thing, you are fooling yourselves. You think they're going to act all... Where are the sane Democrats that would act all magnanimous about this? Maybe Fetterman, maybe? I have no idea why Senator John Thune is waiting on this. But he needs to get off the schneid and get it passed. 52 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, Obamacare is going crazy. Y'all see the premiums going up. You see the deductibles going up, consistent with the increase in the premiums. What do? I would suggest that you do not have to play by Washington's rules. I would suggest that Shane Ring at Cover Nash, in fact, I know, he is your personal healthcare concierge. He has over 75 healthcare plans at his fingertips, and he can find the right one for you. Keep your doctor, keep your hospital, change your plan, skip the government red tape, and get it done, friends. If you're self-employed, if you are uninsured or simply tired of paying too much, call 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023 or go to CoverNash.com. Shane is local. He's right in Brentwood. He can talk to you in person or on the phone. He can find the plan that's right for you. He can save you money in the process. It's what it's all about. Friends, I encourage you to call Shane. He has the knowledge of health insurance that you need to help you find the right plan for you. Shane Ring, Cover Nash. Go to CoverNash.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
All right, to recap, Bunny, bad.
Solid.
Rock, kid.
Solid.
Seahawks, good.
Solid.
What do you think of the game?
Bad.
You didn't like it? What? Because
No.
the Patriots had, there seemed to be no possibility that they could score.
There
enough
wasn't a
points to win.
touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I like a defensive contest.
Not like that.
What do you mean not like that?
Score a touchdown.
That's a defensive contest.
It was offensive, all right.
Defensive. No, it was not offensive. It was defensive.
It was very offensive.
Well, to you, perhaps. The commercials, we didn't do anything on the commercials. I didn't really see a lot of the commercials. What was your favorite? I guess you told me that you like
Neil Diamond.
You like the Neil Diamond Hellman's commercial. What else? I like the Xfinity. The Jurassic Park was pretty good to me.
Oh, the Duncan one.
Duncan was very good. It's harkening back to the all the sitcoms from the 1990s. It's pretty good. I get a little creeped out by the CGI or the artificial intelligence. AI. You know what I'm saying. I just get a little creeped out by that. Their ability to young these people up, but it is what it is. We'll be back tomorrow. I am pleased that you joined us today. I'm pleased we got through 4 hours. My back made it. Happy to hear that. Hopefully, the Guthrie family and the rest of America, that they have good news coming up over the next 24 or so hours. We'll keep watching that story. Keep watching the shenanigans and goings on in Washington, D.C. and here at home in our beautiful volunteer state. Until next time, for Jackson Williams, for Jay Harper, Ken Weaver back tomorrow, by the way, for Ken Weaver too. Matt Murphy speaking and saying, have a good evening. So long, everybody.